Hey everybody, we are joining the USFFL Super Bowl here. We got we got Super Bowl matchup between the Denver Broncos and the Green Bay Packers. The Packers defeated the Seattle Seahawks in the playoffs, so I could have been here. I could have been a contender instead of a bum, which is what I am. Uh, Rob did a nice job taking care of the Seahawks. He beat me twice during the season, once in Week 1 and once in the playoffs. Denver beat Pittsburgh, I believe. Take a quick peek. Hold on. We got first down play after the kickoff. Packers starting on their own 20. Flat pass right to Randall Cobb goes for 13 yards. There's an offsides on Denver that'll be declined. So we have, again, to remind you, USFFL plays with the flats as runs rule. So you throw a flat pass out there and you call pass on defense, it's going to be guessed wrong on the quarterback's card. Now that one, we also play with the 6 wide die rule. So you saw Dan move his free safety down to the middle linebacker zone to cover up for that 0 middle linebacker. Flat pass right to Cobb again, being double covered by the linebacker. So this will be guessed wrong and empty men. So it goes on, it's a 7 on the D card. There was nobody in the zone, it's plus 13. The last play, there was somebody in the zone, but it was a white die 6. So as you're learning to play strap football, it's really important to understand these rules, to be able to understand why certain results happen. So here we are, Super Bowl, Packers, first down and 10 on their own 36, looking past Eddie Lacy, one man in zone. Now on a look-in pass, if you guess pass, it's going to be guessed right. But even with that, Eddie Lacy is one of several Packers receivers which have a great YAC rating. So you have Lacy, who's an A. Randall Cobb is also an A. Jordy Nelson is a B. Quarles is a C. And Richard Rodgers is an E. So 3 of the 5 receivers on any given play will be a YAC B or above. 2 YAC A's is fantastic. Rodgers starts off red hot, 3 for 3 for 33 yards. You will see the Packers attack the Broncos through the air today. Eddie Lacy is a good running back, but the strength, short pass to Quarles, 4 men in zone, the strength of the Denver defense is the run defense. It's picked off. Denver had 4 men in zone. The interception chance was 2 through 5, 11, and 12. And as I've said before, so many times these Super Bowl games or playoff games are decided by big plays and turnovers. And in this case, our league also uses injuries. So if you lose a bunch of guys in injuries like I did during the NFC Championship game, that can really take you down. Let me send this out. So big break for Dan here. I'm going to send this link out for the broadcast. So first and 10, Broncos take over on their own 46. Packers come out in a 3-4-D. Broncos got C.J. Anderson back. They were missing C.J. Anderson during the AFC Championship game. Yeah, it reminds me, I wanted to open that up. Broncos were 11-5 during the season, and the Packers were 14-2. So we had a first down play, I formation for the Broncos. Peyton Manning's last decent card. I imagine his card next year will look pretty bad, despite the Broncos winning the Super Bowl in the NFL. Line buck to C.J. Anderson's going to be guessed right, 1 man in zone. That goes for 1. Look at the Packers' 7 and 8 rolls on off tackle and line buck. You get 2 short gains in there on an off tackle, short gain and +7. So that's something that Rob did very well in the NFC Championship game and throughout the year, is making sure he had a guy in the zone. A lot of people will go to flat pass left and right, so he can call run, drop a man down. You're going to get guessed right, flat passes, and a man in zone. So you got to be willing to open it up, throw some big passes. Linebacker draw to C.J. Anderson. Again, there's a guy there. The draw is going to be a fumble reading, but we use individual fumble rating. But regardless, I would have only gone for a yard if he had not called a draw. But I got to be careful with a guy who calls runs so much. You don't want to be using draws all the time. So now it's 3rd and 10. You got to be willing to throw against the Packers defense. Throwing short is actually what I should have done more of during my game, looking back in retrospect. These flats as runs rule put so much emphasis on the flats that you kind of lose the normal flow of the game. Short pass to Julius Thomas, 4-man in zone, single covered. No blitzers coming. Plus 11, there's Peyton's card, 1st down, Broncos. This is kind of a below average Peyton Manning card, guess right. Guess wrong is still fantastic. But a lot more blanks than we're used to seeing from old Peyton. There was a sack chance there. LaTroy Guion's 3 rating against Will Montgomery's 7 rating, but the sack chance was 0. 0, and the random 0 to 100, or 1 to 100 was 54. I'm going to leave that pass rush matchup off so it doesn't slow things down. 1st and 10, line buck to C.J. Anderson, no man in zone. C.J. Anderson's being doubled by the free safety, but that won't make a difference on the run call. Goes for +5. So you have some nice juicy runs up the middle there. 6, 7, well, 7 and 8 really. And if you go off tackle, you think you have a decent number. So he goes out 3 wide to get the Packers to play 3-3-5. But you watch, he'll still drop a guy in there. Off tackle right to C.J. Anderson. It'll be guess wrong on his card. There's those short gains I was telling you about, 7 and 8 on the D card. I could not hit a single one of those things during the Seahawks game. Of course, when you have Marshawn Lynch, you're going to garner a lot more run calls than typical. But C.J. Anderson's got a really good card. So 1st and 10 at the Packers 22. Dan looking to take advantage of that opening turnover on the Packers' first drive of the game. Look into C.J. Anderson. There's a run call. 1 man in zone. Be guessed wrong. +13. 1st and goal at the 9. Let's take a look at the injuries. We had a lot of injuries in the Packers-Seahawks game last week, and they're still hurting from them. Micah Hyde, although he'll still return punts, is not in there as an extra DB. Julius Peppers is not going to be there. He's out injured. He's a 5-rated outside linebacker. And Davon House, who I don't think is rated anyway. And the Broncos are coming in here fully healthy. No injury so far today in this game. Broncos go full house. Packers are in a 3-4. Run call, short pass to Virgil Green. Guess wrong. Hits one of the blanks on Peyton's card. Unlucky there. It is Father's Day today. Happy Father's Day to all the fathers out there.
Happy Father's Day.
There's my kiddos. They baked me a cake. And might be some other thing. Aiden run to Ronnie Hillman. Defensive end -1 to +6. And Josh Boyd's 4 rating can't make the play. Matter of fact, let me look at this. I can't look at it there. Green Bay. I can't remember if Peppers is a defensive end in this set. Yeah, he's a left outside linebacker. So Josh Boyd's 4-0 rating is in there. Linebacker to C.J. Anderson, guessed wrong. Linebackers in zone, 0 +5, touchdown, Broncos, as C.J. Anderson pounds it in. Hey, we got somebody joining us in the broadcast. It's Lawrence. What's up, Lawrence Green?
Hey, how are you doing?
Good. So you want to be my color commentator today?
I'm not prepared for that.
Okay, well, feel free to jump in if you want to say something. Otherwise, if you can mute the mic, if you're not going to jump in, that would be fantastic.
Okay.
That way, I don't have to worry about background noise.
Okay.
But feel free to jump in. Any comments you have, any strategies you want to comment on, I'm ready for you.
All right, thanks, buddy.
So 7-0 Broncos. If Lawrence, just to fill you in, if you missed it, the Packers got the opening kickoff. They drove past midfield, where Aaron Rodgers threw a rare interception for him. Broncos took advantage of it, drove the field, and got a touchdown. So 1st down for the Packers. Linebacker to Eddie Lacy. And I was mentioning earlier in the broadcast, the strength of that Broncos defense is against the run. So you had defensive right tackle 0 or +5. Terrence Knighton's 5 rating makes the play. But look at those yardages on the Packers card. You had short gains on 7 and 8, off tackle and a short gain on 7 and a +7 on 8. Here you have a 4 and a 3. That ain't too bad. Packers come out 3 wide, 2nd and 10, short pass to Devontae Adams, 3-minute zone as the extra DBs pull back. And it's a blank on Aaron Rodgers' card, but there's a false start on the Packers. That'll back them up. No play. 2nd and 15. The Packers had a fantastic year offensively. They went 14 and 2. They scored 591 points. That's just like 20 points or so off of the NFL record, which I think is 607 for an entire season. 2nd and 15. Packers are in a base set. The Broncos respond 4-2-5. Short pass to Andrew Corliss, guest right, 4-minute zone. And it hits another blank on Aaron Rodgers' card. Holding on the Packers. That can either back it up 7 yards to be 2nd and 22, or he might decline it. He does decline it, figuring you want to have you got a 3rd and 15. The only number on Aaron Rodgers' card, guessed right, is 5. And you do have some nice receiver readings on both Nelson and Devontae Adams, which can get you that yardage. Oh, I'm sorry, Devontae isn't that great. So really, it's just Nelson. You have these big yardage numbers. A couple on Cobb. So we'll see where he goes. 4-2-5. The Packers or the Broncos are showing blitz, and the Packers are in a 3-3-5. The Broncos middle linebackers are 0. It's a flat pass right to Eddie Lacy. It's a snap fumble. Denver's got the ball. That's 2 drives for the Packers, 2 turnovers, and you can be sure the Broncos will just sit on it. So now Broncos get the ball, 1st and 10, already leading 7-0. And remember, they kicked off to start the game. They will get the ball first in the second half. If they can go and get a touchdown here, that'll really put the pressure on the Green Bay Packers. Line buck to C.J. Anderson, guessed right with a run call. No minute zone, offensive left guard, +6 or +2. That moves the ball up to the 8-yard line, 2nd and 4. Packers are up against it here. $6:54 to go in the first quarter. Short pass to Julius Thomas, 4-minute zone run call. It hits a blank on Peyton's card. We've seen both quarterbacks, maybe a little bit of Super Bowl nerves landing on blanks on their cards, but the Packers were offsides. Josh Boyd lined up a little bit in the neutral zone, and he was flagged for it. So take away the incompletion, 1st and goal at the 4. Time for the Broncos to pound it in. They go to Hillman, picks up 2. Another flag down, offsides again on the Packers. 1st and goal at the 2. The referees and the turnovers are going the Broncos' way. The Packers are feeling hard pressed. 1st and goal at the 2. It'll be another run here. No, it's a short pass. Dan says, Dennis, you don't know what you're doing. You got knocked out. That's why you got knocked out, because you were too conservative. Puts it in the air. Touchdown, Broncos. Like I said, Peyton's guessed wrong card. It's fantastic. It'll be 14-0 as the NFC champions are trailing by 2 touchdowns. 2 drives, 2 turnovers, 2 short fields. The last one especially bad. And the Packers defense can't hold up. But their offense is quite capable of making up that difference in a hurry. Packers come out with 3 wide receivers, 2 halfbacks, Lacy and Kuhn in the backfield. Let's see how the Broncos respond. The Broncos looks like they're going to line up 3-4, and they do. But this is a base formation. Off tackle right to Eddie Lacy. It's a run call, 0-minute zone. Defensive tackle 0 +5. So Terrence Knighton's 5 rating was reduced by 1 to a 4. But it wouldn't have made a difference, as the white die 6 would have made that +5 either way. 2nd and 5. Packers go back to the one halfback, two tight end set that they favor most of the year. They'll either go this or they'll go three wide. 2nd and 5. Now, just because the Packers got behind, if you're going to fall behind by a couple of touchdowns, looking past Andrew Corliss, you want to do it early. Single covered guest right, not +7. It's using the yak reading, so it's a -1, and it was adjusted by 0 yards, which means it is incomplete. Remember, Corliss is only a C yak rated receiver. 3rd and 5. Packers go three wide. Let's check there it is. TJ Ward has a 6 run rating, which means for 3rd and 5 on flat passes, he will contain if it goes on the quarterback's card. Now, I can still make a first down on a flat pass on the D card or on a receiver reading on the D card. Looking past Nelson, there's a run call, 0 rated linebacker in the zone. This should be a first down, and it is. Short gain to Aaron Rodgers. So you have to be aware of that. If you're playing with this rule set, there's a greater likelihood that the offense is going to throw a looking pass or a short or a long pass because of the containment on flat passes. If that had been a flat pass to the same receiver, that would have been contained despite the short gain reading. Again, these new rules takes a little bit to get your head around it. And I went from being a fan of them to not really liking them. So flat pass left to Eddie Lacy. It's going to be guessed wrong, but it hits the only blank on Aaron Rodgers' card, guessed wrong, the Snake Eyes. It was guessed wrong because we play, if you throw a flat pass, it's considered a run. So in order to guess it right, you have to guess a run. Of course, if you do that, you leave the middle of the zone open, you leave your short pass and long pass vulnerable. Guessed wrong, Aaron Rodgers is not what you want to do. Short pass to Randall Cobb, 3-minute zone guessed right. Now, Aaron Rodgers has just about the best short pass card in the set. There's an injury on the play, and there's a pass interference call. It hit a blank on Cobb's card, but the interference is going to move it up 11 yards and give a first down. But more importantly, Denver's Aqib Talib got banged up on that play. That is a 6-rated cornerback. That is a huge blow for the Broncos. My, oh my. Let's look at those injuries. Packers came into the game missing 3 players. But, I would say Peppers was their biggest loss. But nothing is important as a 6-rated cornerback. That's brutal. That's one of Denver's strengths. Look at that pass rating card, that 3-minute zone, 4-minute zone. That's super vulnerable to a guy like Rodgers. Linebacker to Lacy, guessed wrong, 0-minute zone. Short gain on Lacy's card, first down pack. But now you got a 0 on Cobb as old Kayvon Webster comes in. He's going to be out for the rest of the game. That is a single half injury. As I really wish that Strat would redo their way they do injuries. I think it's too random, too devastating. Too many. They don't card for the depth that you need. Long pass to Cobb, covered by a 0. Guessed wrong. High percentage play for a long gain here. The survey says long gain, Aaron Rodgers, touchdown. There's another injury, and Richard Rodgers gets banged up, and he's going to miss the rest of this game. I think that's okay. You don't want to miss an important piece, but your second tight end is not as important. So the Packers, like I said, if you're going to fall behind by 2 touchdowns, you'd rather do it in the first quarter than any other time in the game. Rob's keeping his calm. Extra point to Crosby's up and good. So that'll be 14-7. Broncos will receive a kickoff for the first time in this game. Remember, the other 2 times they got the ball, it was off a turnover. Omar Bolden has an excellent return card. And Dan has been taking it out deep in the end zone, but this time he still takes it out. He falls a little short of the 20-yard line. Really, the 7 and 8 and 11 are the only rules that are going to keep you inside the 20. So 1st and 10, Broncos. They come out 3 wide. Packers respond with a 3-3-5, 2:42 to go in the first quarter. A nice long sustained drive is what the Broncos are looking for here, and the Packers want them to go 3 and out to get the ball back. Looking past it, Julius Thomas, 0 men there, so it'll be guessed wrong, and it'll be 0 men in the zone. But it hits that yak reading, which is +3, and we told you all the wonderful yards after catch guys that the Packers have. The Broncos, not so much. They have a C. Julius Thomas was a D. That's who caught it there. C.J. Anderson is an A, so they do have 1 A, and Demaryius Thomas is a B. So they have 1 A and 1 B, whereas the Packers had 2 A's and 1 B. Looking past it, Demaryius Thomas, that's the B yak dude. Guessed wrong, +10. First down Broncos. Broncos out to the 29. 3 wide. Line buck to C.J. Anderson. It's going to be guessed wrong, 0 men in zone, but the nose tackle, good old LaTroy Guion, makes the play. He's a 4-rated nose tackle, and the white die was a 4. So he has 1/3 of a chance, 3.333, 1 out of 3, whatever you want to say, when it lands on the D cards, that he'll make the play on 5 and 9. The other 2/3 of the time, he will not make the play. Short pass, Emmanuel Sanders, guessed right, 4 men in zone, and it's incomplete. So the Packers are vulnerable on runs. The Broncos are vulnerable on passes if you just look at their carded or their D cards. 3rd and 9 here. Big play for the Broncos. Strong safety for the Packers is also a 6-rated run defender. So he will contain on rolls that land, flat pass rolls that land on the quarterback's card. Welker is the 3rd wide receiver in this set. It's a long pass to Emmanuel Sanders, 1 man in zone. Rob's not one to gamble as much, but didn't matter. It was on Payton's card. He lines it up and nails it. 10 +29. First down Broncos. Big play there. That would have been incomplete on Payton's card, I believe. Let's take a quick look. No, 10 +14. So unless it was double covered, even if it was double covered deep, it was going to be +29. Looking to Demaryius Thomas. Again, calling run, dropping 1 man in. 6 wide dive rule means that's +13. First and 10 for the Broncos. Manning starting off a blazing 7 and 9 for 80 yards and a touchdown. Looking past to Sanders, guessed right on the quarterback's card, 1 man in zone. Unless it's another white die 6. Let's see the roll. It is another white die 6, but it hits the receiver rating on 8 and guessed right on a 6 is incomplete. So that's 2nd and 10. If he had thrown that to a flat, it would have been guessed wrong on the receiver card, I believe, and it would have been +15. 2nd and 10. Broncos at the Packers 28. 3 wide again, looking past to C.J. Anderson. He's an yak dude. It's an interception. Guessed wrong on Payton's card, hits 2 through 4, and now the Packers are taking it to the house. He could go all the way. Clay Matthews, Thor, picks it off and returns it. 76 yards for the touchdown. Oh, my stars and garters. This game's going to be tied. What did I say?
What a first quarter. Crazy.
Amazing, huh? Turnovers and big plays. We've had a little bit of both. Broncos were helped by turnovers early, and now they're hurt by one just as the second quarter had begun. False start there on the Packers. They'll back it up. Extra points up and good. So 14-14. This game's a clean slate. Like I said, you're going to fall behind by 14. You want to do it early in the game. Gives you plenty of time to catch up. And look at that. Just took 2 possessions, two turn of events. The long touchdown throw of 30 yards or so by Rodgers to Cobb. And now a pick six. Those are devastating. I think there's some stat that when you have a pick six, it's like, I don't know, it increases your chances to win by a huge amount. I got to look that up as we go with the Broncos taking over third. I don't have a statistics department to throw me these things. So three wide, 3-3-5. Dan's got to be a little disheartened after that line buck to C.J. Anderson. Guessed wrong, 0 minute zone. Unless the formation forces it with a white die 1 to be guessed right on Anderson's card. Nope, it's a white die 2. So that's guessed wrong on Anderson's card, short gain. So let's go. Pick six. Oh man, I got all this lottery stuff. I gotta put NFL. No, it doesn't help me. Oh, I'll look that up later. I'll drop it in if I can. Third or 1st and 10 on the Bronco. The Broncos are up to their own 35. Short pass to Emmanuel Sanders. Guess right. Another turnover. Intercepted. And it's returned down to the 24-yard line. My, oh my. Payton, the old Payton, is rearing his head as Tremont Williams steps in front.
I'll try to look up that pick six thing.
Yeah, let me know. I think there's some article I remember reading that the odds that it increases your chances of winning. Don't remember exactly. I also see a email from our commissioner. He's trying to join the broadcast but can't do it. So let me address that real quick. So the Packers go from being down 14 to being on the verge of taking the lead, 13-30 to go in the second quarter. Off tackle left to Eddie Lacy. Guessed wrong, +2 on Lacy's card. Lacy's pretty chunky on that off tackle. Okay, 2nd and 8. Packers down to the Broncos 22. 3 wide, 3-3-5 for the Broncos. I almost think that you're better off when you're facing this thing is going with a 3-2-6 sometimes, because you can get 2 double teams. His middle linebacker is short pass to Devontae Adams, guessed wrong. Your middle linebackers are 0. 4 minute zone still +10. So, of course, Dan will keep that in mind next year if he listens to this broadcast after the game. 1st and 10, Packers at the Broncos 12. 12:18 to go in the second quarter. Packers go to an I formation, looking past to Jordy Nelson. Guessed right. The free safety's dropped in there, but he's still subject, because he's a pass rated 5, he's still subject to the white die 6. And that was a white die 6 roll. Goes for +8. 2nd and 2. I formation again. Broncos go with a 4-3, showing blitz. Rodgers 7 and 11 for 96 yards. Remember, Payton had started off like 7 of 9 with no picks. I think 2 of his last 3 or 4 passes have been intercepted. Short pass to Cobb being double covered, incomplete. Nice double there by Dan. Guessed wrong would have been a touchdown. Guessed right without the double team would have been a must run. Another good chance for a touchdown. So excellent double team there. 3rd and 2 at the Broncos 4. He can get a first down here. It's not 3rd and goal. It's 3rd and 2. 4-3 showing blitz against a full house, or not a full house, a 3 halfback, 2 formation. Short pass to Starks. The run showing. It's going to be a touchdown. +15 on the quarterback's card. He would have had to double or get the sack in order to stop that. Such a difficult offense to stop. And the Packers, if you give them a short field, they will kill you. They are back in front. They're in front for the first time today, I should say, 21-14 after falling behind 14-0.
Hey, Dennis, I saw something from the 2010 season, and there had been 45 interceptions returned for a touchdown that season, and 91.1% of them resulted in victories for that team.
Wow.
Similar.
That's pretty huge, yeah. So Again, repeat that stat one more time.
In 2010, 45 passes were returned for touchdowns, and that team won 91.1% of the time.
So there you go. If you get a pick six, that was the stat from the 2010 season. Now, I imagine it would fluctuate from year to year, but you get a pick six, you got a 90% chance of winning. So let's just say that was an anomaly. If you get a pick six, maybe it's usually 80% chance you're going to win. So that's a big, big difference. Flat pass left to Demaryius Thomas on 1st and 10. So the Broncos trailing by 7. They shouldn't let that one stat get in their way because they got their own version of a pick six. They got a snap fumble at the 15-yard line or something like that they cashed in. So I'm not saying that it's a death knell, but it's certainly, especially when you go that much of the field, 76-yard pick six there. That was huge. Short pass to Wes Welker, 2nd and 3. 3-man in zone, guessed right. And he's being single covered. Not only single covered, but he's pulled back there. So there you go. That's what I mean by that. The defender X or plus 15, you no longer use the extra DB's rating or whatever that, if you had the free safety on him or whatever, because you've pulled him back, you use nothing. It's automatically complete. As you see here in the play-by-play text, it says no defender. So there was nothing to compare that for rating. It was a white die 6. It would have been completed anyway, but you go from 1/3 chance of it being defended to 0. 1st and 10, Broncos out to the 42. Run call. It's a run call. 4-man in zone, though. Oh, no, I'm sorry. It was a long pass. Excuse me. 0-man in zone, wrong call, and it hit the 12 boxcars on the D card. The Packers, like I said, you want to attack them via the run because their pass card is very good. You still want to go up top like that. Don't get me wrong. But for having 0-man in zone, that's not a lot of opportunity there that you normally expect to see in this modern day and age. Flat pass right, 2-man in zone to Demaryius Thomas. It'll be guessed wrong on the quarterback's card, but 2-man in zone on the D card, and it's incomplete. Would have been incomplete with 1-man in zone. If there would have been a white die 6, would have been plus 30 on one of the other flats. In this case, 2-man in zone is always going to be 2-man in zone. So 3rd and 10 now, Broncos out to their own 42. Some nice calls by Rob there. He knows that you're looking at that 0 in the flat. He's going to cover up for that now and then. 3-2-6 defense for the Packers. Linebacker draw to C.J. Anderson. It's going to be guessed right or guessed wrong on the halfback card. 0-man in zone on the D card. Short gain, and there was a chance for containment there, but it was a white die 3. So that linebacker or DB there, it didn't really matter who was there unless it was a 6 run defender. I believe he dropped the extra DB in there. Or on 3-2-6, he put a 0 DB in there, which is nothing. So off tackle left to C.J. Anderson. So it would have been not contained on either a 2 or 3, only containment on a 1 for 0 rated run defenders. He goes for 5 on 1st down. Guessed wrong. 2nd and 5, now at the Packers 38. Nearly in field goal range, but the Broncos, they don't want a field goal here. They want a touchdown. 3 wide, and Rob goes to a 3-4 defense. So he sees you spying out those flats. He's trying to compensate for that. When in his 3-4, he moves Clay Matthews inside. So you got 2 0-rated pass outside linebackers now because of the injury to Julius Peppers. Look into Wes Welker. It's a pass call, so it'll be guessed right, 1-man in zone. And it's plus 3 or incomplete, and it hits the split for an incomplete. 3rd and 5. Big play there. If he had run the ball there, of course, hindsight's 2020. Off tackle and end run on the Packers card gives you big yardage. Let's take a look at that. Oh, I'm sorry, not the off tackle, only the end run. If he had been end run there, 0-man in zone plus 43 would have been a touchdown. So despite the 7 and 8s in the middle on linebucks and off tackles, the snake eyes is not as much of a threat. Only end run will he get burned. So 3rd and 5, high formation against a 3-4, looking past the C.J. Anderson. He's a yak A. Rob's double teaming Julius Thomas. There's that yak rating. It's a -1, modified by 17 yards on the yak A. If you don't understand how the yak works, the yak is tiered A through E, the A being the best, the E being the worst. And I'll bring up that chart later in the game to show you, maybe at halftime, so we can take a look at that. I formation for the Broncos. They get a huge first down there. And again, because it was a looking pass and not a flat pass, you didn't have to worry about strong safety containment. End run right to CJ Anderson. Guess right. Defensive end -1 or +6. Poor Josh Boyd can't make the play. His 4 rating didn't help. 2nd and 4. The Broncos at the Packers 16-yard line on the verge of tying it up. This has been a seesaw game. 6:36 to go in the half. And remember, the Broncos get the ball first in the second half. Will he let that pick 6 from around this same spot earlier in the game affect his play calling? Or will he throw it up? Go big or go home? Decisions. Dan's going through the permutations and the possibilities. Flat pass left, 2-minute in zone. It'll be guessed wrong on the quarterback's card, 2-minute in zone on the defensive card. Really maximizing his chances for a turnover here if it lands on the D card. Oh my, just missed it. 4 rating or 4 roll. Rob's like kicking himself. Just almost got that. It's really only 3 out of 36 chance for a pick, but God, certainly looks like he just missed it there. It was a white die 5, so it would have been incomplete, even if he had gone to one of the other zones. Broncos go 3 wide. Shotgun set. Remember, their very good yak receivers are Thomas and Anderson. Short pass to Emmanuel Sanders. Incomplete. And the Broncos will settle for 3 here. I think it's too early to start going for it. Now, he could have threw a flat pass there. That would have been complete because it would have been guessed wrong on Payton's card. But he was trying to go upstairs, get inside the red zone, or inside the 10, excuse me. He was already inside the red zone. So 21-17. A nice drive by the Broncos, but they got to be kicking themselves a little bit, questioning their play call. They let the pick 6 on the short pass interception maybe affect their play calling. They went flat, but then they flipped it. That's the sign of a good coach. If Rob is getting inside Dan's head a bit, forcing him to do what he wants, or at least, encouraging him to make certain play calls, which then Rob can take advantage of. So let's see what Rob does here. Leading by 4, 5:24 to go in the first half. 21-17. Packers will start on their own 22, 3 wide against the 3-3-5. And again, I don't know how much good that 0-rated middle linebacker does. Well, allows you to call run. 3-2-6 would not allow that. Flat pass right to Jordy Nelson. It'll be guessed right on the quarterback's card. Linebackers in zone. It's a 5, and it's swatted away by Von Miller. The Packers have pass blocking that goes 4-7-4-7-5. And the Broncos D-line is 1-1-9. So your pass rush is going to come from DeMarcus Ware and Von Miller. Looking past to Jordy Nelson, guess right. There's a 0-rated pass defender there. Goes for +5. There's an injury. Devontae Adams comes out for the remainder of the game. 3rd and 5. Containment is in effect. No word from Jason on whether he's able to get back in here. 3rd and 5. Packers at their own 27, 4:30. Big play here. 3rd down conversions are going to be huge today. This is the USFFL Super Bowl, folks. This is where you play the games. Get to the championship. Got a chance at grabbing that ring. Now Rob's going through the permutations and the possibilities, trying to get the exact right play call. Dan trying to thwart him. Double team. Does he double team Lacey, who's in AYAC? Does he go after Oh, he goes a short pass to Boykin. 4 men in zone, guessed right. There's a dump off, though, +7. There was a sack rush chance, but there was no second high linebacker, so it went right away to a dump off. D card +7. First down Packers. When you're in a 3rd and 5, you got to balance. You know, you can't. It's not easy to send those linebackers in, so you're going to get burned there a little bit. By throwing it to Boykin, interestingly enough, he won't be the recipient of a dump off. And he's one of the worst Yak guys. Looking past to Lacey, guessed right in the quarterback's guard, hits a blank. Remember, the good Yak guys on the Packers, Lacey, Cobb, Nelson. And Devontae Adams is out injured. Hey, bud. Say hi.
Hi.
Say this is a Ryder.
This is a Ryder.
And I am.
And I am
joining the broadcast.
Joining the broadcast.
How old are you, Mr. Ryder?
11.
Long past to Cobb. Ryder just had a birthday recently. Guessed right. Quarterback's card 6 is incomplete, but there's an injury. Corey Lindsley, the center, pulls up with an injured quadricep. So he is out for the rest of the game. And he's replaced by a 0-0. That could have an effect.
I sit on I'm white. I will be the white.
3:18 to go in the half. 21-17 Packers, 3rd and 10. Remember, 3rd down conversions are critical. Broncos go 4-2-5, showing blitz. Flat pass right to Lacey, being double covered. Well, not really being double covered because the linebacker's blitzing, so it'll be single covered, 1 man in zone there. Linebacker in zone X for short gain, and Raheem Moore's 5 rating matched the white die 5. Incomplete. The Broncos will have to punt. Maybe that's something Dan picked up on in scouting. When you show blitz, he likes to go to Lacey.
Hey, Lacey.
That's right, Eddie Lacy, guys. You guys know those guys.
Hey, Lacey versus Russell Wilson.
No, this is the Broncos against the Packers.
Hey, Lacey versus John Cena.
46-yard punt. 0-yard return. Broncos will take over on their own 20. 2:42 to go in the half. 3 wide formation showing from the Broncos. C.J. Anderson's in the backfield. Hunter, put this in the freezer. Sure, of course. Long pass, Emmanuel Sanders, 1 man in zone. Peyton Manning aims and fires and hits for 29 yards. He hit him right in stride.
Really? He hit him?
Ha Clinton Dix pushes Emmanuel Sanders out of bounds. And it's 1st and 10 Packers.
Is it Queen on his color or the
Queen goes on her color. Our boys are starting up an epic chess match.
The wrong one.
No,
Queen is on
yeah, he had the Queen on her color.
Right, I forgot.
The King's the one with the cross on top. 1st and 10.
I need it on.
Broncos stay with the 4-4-3. Or excuse me, with the 3 wide, while the Packers go with a 3-3-5. Flat pass left to Julius Thomas. There's a run call there. So it would have been guessed right on the quarterback's card. 1 man in zone on the D card +5. 2-minute warning, folks.
It's on game. First.
3 wide, 3-3-5. Long pass to Sanders. 0 man in zone, guessed right. Peyton has hit a couple of those today. But he's got higher than usual interception chances, so he's got to be careful. 1:52 to go in the half, 3rd and 5. What did I say about 3rd down conversions? They're important. Can he extend the drive?
Please stop making that sound.
Short pass to Sanders. 4 man in zone, guessed right. Interceptions chance, and it's going to be picked off. Peyton's 3rd pick of the day, and the return goes out past midfield. Morgan Burnett steps in front of the receiver and runs it back 24 yards. There was also a sack chance on that play, but Ryan Clady held up. If there wasn't a sack chance there, interestingly, if there wasn't an interception there or completion, If it had hit one of the blanks, it would have been a dump off with a good chance for a first down. So the Packers will take over after the Manning's third interception of the day. He's not playing like the Manning of old. He's playing like the old Manning. Or an old Manning, I should say. 1st and 10. I formation. Off tackle right to Lacey. Guessed wrong. +4 on his card. 2nd and 6 at the Broncos 41, just outside field goal range. Broncos go hurry up. They like having that 4-2-5 to shoot against.
Okay, I'm gonna move. Shane.
2nd and 6, I formation, 4-2-5. .122 to go in the half. Deliberating. Just making sure I'm not stuck. Doesn't appear to be. There we go. So it wasn't a hurry-up offense. It just let the clock run down. Right tackle, the Letty Lacy, guessed right. No min in zone, but guessed right makes it a +4 as opposed to a short gain. So good call there by Dan. 3rd and 2. He goes hurry up this time. So 4-3 against an I formation. Tough to stop the pack. This might be 4-down territory for them anyway with 1 minute left and being so close to field goal range, no man's land kind of. You're not going to punt it here.
Wait, there's no man's land?
No man's land is what I consider in that 40 to 30 range. Short pass to Corliss, guessed right, 3-man in zone, hits a receiver reading, incomplete. Now let's see if I'm right, if he's going to go for it here. 4th and 2 at the Broncos 37. If you miss it, you give the Broncos a short field, but there's only be 45 seconds left in the half anyway. So it's worth the risk, only needing 2 yards. Eddie Lacy can pick up 2 yards, guessed right. They are deliberating. They're taking their time. It's an I formation against a 4-3. Short pass to Jordy Nelson. Guessed right. 3-man in zone. It's a long gain. Not only does he convert it, he gets a touchdown. And the Packers go big or go home. They go up by 11, 28-17, pending the extra point. And it is up and good. Big shift there. If he had just brought up the free safety and left him in that short pass zone to be 4-man in zone, it would have been incomplete. Ifs and buts and candy and nuts and that kind of stuff. So the Broncos will get it with 30 seconds left. Not much opportunity to move it down the field. They might try to go for a flat pass to one of their A-rated to C.J. Anderson or Demaryius Thomas. Look for a flat pass to one of those guys. See if they get a lucky roll. 3 wide shotgun. Packers go 3-2-6. Not worried about the run right now. So since the short pass to Thomas, 3-man in zone. Good at the Packers long game, but it's another interception. Peyton Manning. Maybe it's time for you to think about retiring or get your vision checked as you keep throwing the ball to the other team. Oof. Since going up 14-0, the Broncos have been outscored 28-3. The Packers have to feel good about this, even if they just get a field goal out of this and go up by 14. Off tackle right to Eddie Lacy. It's a run call. Goes for 3. Takes it down to the Broncos 31-20. There'll be 15 seconds left after a timeout. 2 timeouts remaining for the Packers. They can run it twice. They can throw deep. That would have been a long pass. That would have been a long gain and a touchdown in all likelihood. 3 wide against 3-3-5. Dan's got to be feeling a little demoralized right now. How many times is that interception chance going to come up? Guess right. We've seen it on Peyton's card almost every time. Maybe once on the D card. Flat pass right to Jordy Nelson. Guessed right. There'll be a 5 pass defender in the zone, and he swats it away. That's our friend Von Miller. 8 seconds left. Now, the only reason you kick a field goal here is if there's a penalty, an offensive penalty with 1 second left, then it will be the end of the half, and you lose a chance to kick a field goal. I usually go for it here, not really caring, but I can see why you'd do that. Mason Crosby's only 2 through 6 and 12 because he was pushed out to the higher range, but that's the kind of day it's been for the Broncos. Packers hit a less than 50% chance of a field goal, and that'll be the half. So 31-17, the Broncos are trailing by 2 touchdowns, but they do get the ball first. We got the obligatory good half. Rob asking if Dan needs a break. I might take a break on that. Just walk around and get my head clear for a second.
Wow, what a brutal sequence for the Broncos. Unreal.
Yeah. Have you ever had a game like that, Lawrence?
Yeah, usually you've been on the other side.
People think I got some magic computer bean counter hack or something that's making that happen, but it's just rotten luck and in a random dice game.
Yeah.
So we got to jump off here.
It's crazy that swing though from going 14-0, looking good for Denver. You know.
So they were leading by 14. Now they're trailing by 14. Let's see how they respond. If they get the ball, drive it down the field, and get a touchdown, that's going to make him feel a whole heck of a lot better. It's so hard to contain that Packers offense. I know it firsthand. I wasn't hit with so many turnovers, but I was hit with a ton of injuries that really changed the way I was calling the game. Let's look at the playoff file real quick while we have a moment. So the Broncos beat the Houston Texans in the first round and the Pittsburgh Steelers in the second round in the conference championship to get to the Super Bowl. They were the number 2 seed. The Packers were the number 2 seed also. Oh, no, they were a wild card team. The Lions beat them out for the division, if I remember right. They went 14-2 and were a wild card team because the Lions were 15-1 with this crazy rule set. And they beat the Eagles, the Lions, and the Seahawks. They did beat me, 34-23. Yeah, you do get knocked. That's right. It's a single elimination tournament. It's pretty easy to get knocked out.
What? He did not lose, right?
I don't know what happened here. We had the squib kick.
The kick.
I don't know if one person squib kicked it and the other person thought it was the end of the half. So it looked like the Broncos were starting around midfield. So I don't know what's going to happen here. If he's going to take over there. Says all good on Dan's side. I think we'll get the second half kickoff here. There we go. Goes to 1 yard deep, and here comes Omar Bolden. He could return it to the midfield or longer. It's got that plus 77 on 2. It'll be decent field position. The Broncos will start on their 35. Got long gain on 12, plus 77 on 2. That's some nice numbers there. And in between. So the Broncos will take over. 1st and 10. Peyton, this is your opportunity to redeem yourself. I think the Broncos got away from their run game a little bit. And easy to say in hindsight, but flat pass left to Emmanuel Sanders. It'll be guessed wrong on the quarterback's card, but it goes on the D card. That's the beauty of Rob's plan. He calls a lot of run, so it'll be guessed right on your card if you go to the flats. And if it goes on the D card, even though, you know, it isn't totally empty, it's got a lot of blanks. You got that -3 on 10. You really only hurt on his card if you throw it to one of his weaker linebackers and you hit that 7. So 1st and 5 after the penalty. Long pass to Emmanuel Sanders. Guessed wrong on Peyton's card. Hits the receiver reading. Does not connect. A 10 is incomplete on Sanders' card. He's got, let's see, 6, 5, 11, 15, 17, 18 chances out of 36 to hit. Guessed wrong. I wonder what Demaryius Thomas was on a 10. If he had gone deep to Thomas. Let's look at his card real quick. Again, I love being the hindsight. It would have been +26 on Thomas's card. So 2nd and 5, 3-3-5 against 3 wide. Short pass to Welker. Again, throwing into the 4-minute zone. Easy for me to criticize here, but on 2nd and 5, you want to be maybe hitting that flat, break containment, or running the ball. Instead, he throws it into the strength of the Packers defense. Their 4-minute zone card is going to get a lot of blanks. Has that high interception chance as well. So now it's 3rd and 5. Line buck to C.J. Anderson. He's running it. Rob was looking for a pass. And there's that juicy number, +17 on box cars on the 8. 7 and 8 is where you want to run. You can run there on 3rd and 5. Even if you don't hit containment, or even if you hit your card and you're stopped by containment, go for it on 4th and short, you know? Give yourself a chance. That has to feel good for Dan. 1st and 10 at the Packers 43. Hunter, I want you to use the oranges. I'll peel it for you. Give me 2. Okay, go for it. It's a long pass to Demaryius Thomas. Now he's moving. Guessed wrong. 0-minute zone, but that Packers D card comes up big. 2nd and 10. So that was a good call. Dan had him moved around, had him where he wanted him, but
Check. Pow! Oh, that is a good move. I did not see.
we had a check call and the chess came. It looks like
Eliminated the check with only coach. He has a bishop and a pawn.
it looks like Ryder's got Koji on the ropes.
I got him on the run. Hey! Sorry.
Back to the football game. 2nd and 10. Broncos need to play here. Short pass to Thomas. 3-minute zone, guessed wrong. There's the max receiver coming into play. Hits a receiver reading, +12. And that'll be 1st down for the Broncos. Broncos are at the Packers 31. 12-18 to go in the 3rd quarter. You want to get points here. I think you're okay even if you get a field goal here to cut it to 11. But ideally, you get a touchdown. Short pass to Emmanuel Sanders. Again, he's focusing on those flats. Guessed wrong on Peyton's cards, +10. Another 1st down, this time at the Broncos 21. Rob is doing a great job of mixing it up. Not many coaches will call run in the traditional rule set, so I will give it to the new rule set that you do see a lot more run call. Long pass to Sanders, 0-minute zone, guessed right though. It's a dump off, +13, that takes it inside the 10, as there was not a second high linebacker coming for the Pack. Got to finish this drive off now. Manning, 15 to 31 for 187.
Oops. If it's only one king and the rest of the person has more than just one king, and the king just get moving and the other person 20 moves. Okay. But if I kill someone, it restarts into 20 moves.
3 wide
If
versus
it's
a 3-4.
If it's just
End run right to C.J. Anderson. 1-minute zone, guessed wrong. Goes for +6. If it would have been a white die 1, it would have been +4. Still a decent card, even guessed right. You do have the -5 on 7. You have to watch out for. But now it's 2nd and goal to 2. Broncos go full house. Packers go 3-4, not showing blitz. It'll be a run. Line buck to Peyton. Only picks up 1. 30 out of 1,000. So 3% chance of a fumble for Peyton. 3rd and goal at the 1. Yeah, bring it over. I'll join in with you guys. If you have line buck to CJ Anderson, guess right, +3 touchdown, but there's a false start. Back it up. Back it up. 3rd and goal from the 6. Hey, I was going to play all 3 of us. So penalties, turnovers. What did I say? They play a big part in these games. 3-4 showing blitz against the full house. Yep. Give me 1 for Ryder too. Give me 2. Give me 2 each. You guys can have 2 each. And give me that paper plate. It's a line buck to CJ Anderson. Goes for 4 yards. That'll bring up 4th and goal at the 2. Ballsy call there. Yeah, when it gets a little bit less hot. 14 runs for 99 yards today for Anderson. He's going to go for the field goal. He's not going to chance it. The kick is up and good. That makes it 31-20. I think with 9:36 to go in the 3rd quarter, I kind of agree with that. He kicks it deep, and the Packers will take a knee and bring it out to the 20. Hunter, trash all that.
What is this game?
That is called Chinese checkers.
And how do you play everyone?
You kind of can jump over each of your guys, and you want to go across the field to the other side.
To kill other people?
No, you want to get all your pieces like if you're here, you want all your green pieces to go there, and you win. And you can jump over people like in checkers, so that way you get move benefits, advantages like that.
This is Chinese chess.
Chinese checkers is called. 1st and 10 Packers at their own 20. It is imperative that the Broncos and Dan get stops. Short pass to Quarles. Guess right, 3-minute zone. Okay, use that one. Hunter! Here, I have a hard one here. Ryder, this is a good one. Eat that one.
Okay, very funny, guys. Come on, let me go. No, let me go.
Offsetting penalties there. Wiped out the 13-yard gain. Looking past to Nelson. 0 man there. Will be guessed wrong on the quarterback's guard. Hits that yak reading. +3 is modified by 8 yards. Goes for 11. 31-20 Packers leading in this USFFL Super Bowl. Off tackle right, Eddie Lacy guessed wrong. 0-minute zone. Goes for 6. So the Packers would love to take a nice long drive, eat up clock, move the ball down, get some points. A field goal or a touchdown doesn't matter at this point. Touchdown would be better, make it a 3-score game, but even a field goal, really you're eating up clock. There's half of the 3rd quarter is gone, and if you get at least 3 points, the Broncos haven't cut into the lead. Line buck to Eddie Lacy against short yardage. It's going to be guessed right, but it goes for 4 yards. 1st down Packers. Lacy doesn't have a ton of short gains. Guessed wrong, but he's got enough that those can be devastating. But guessed right, his yardage can move the chains if he keeps hitting those +5, +4s. 1st and 10. Packers go 3 wide. They're just relentless. So many offensive weapons. Flat pass left to a 6 rated pass linebacker, but it's to Jordy Nelson. It'll be guessed wrong on his card, goes for +8. Continually getting into short yardage situations. It's just so tough to stop this pack attack. 6:54 to go in the third quarter. The Packers are almost at midfield. Off tackle right to Lacey, guessed wrong, 0-minute zone. Broncos wanted to go on their card. It does, but even that gets 2 yards. First down Pack. Lacey's run the ball 10 times today for 49 yards. 6:18 to go in the third quarter. With each first down, that tightens the noose around Dan and the Broncos. Three wide versus 3-3-5. Short pass to Boykin. Guessed wrong on Aaron Rodgers' card. 4-minute zone on the D card. Interception split 2-5, 11 and 12. Misses. But that's still a positive play for the Broncos. You got an incomplete pass there, or a rare incompletion. Even with 4-minute zone, you have completions, straight completions on 3, 5, and 6. Then you got your defender X readings. Remember, keep Talib's out of this game. So Randall Cobb's covered by a 0. You haven't really seen Rob pound on that, but he's aware of it. He'll use it at the appropriate time. It's in the back of his mind. 1 tight end, 1 halfback against 4-2-5. 2 tight ends, 1 halfback, excuse me. Long pass to Cobb. What did I tell you? 0-minute zone covered by a 0. Guess wrong on Rodgers' card. There's a lot of chances for something good to happen. But interception split comes up again. Look at that. This is a typical modern-day 0-minute zone card. Well, not typical, but you see this quite a bit. 3, 4, 5 long gains. Defender X or long gain on 8, 9. He was covered by a 0. So you had a ton of chances to get a big play. Over 50%. Well over 50%. But it did not happen. So another good play for the Broncos. If they can get a stop here, get the ball back, we got a new ball game, folks. 3rd and 10. 3 wide against a 3-3-5. Look for Rodgers to go short here. He might go to Corliss, who hasn't been getting a lot of double teams. He might go to Boykin, who hasn't been getting a lot of double teams. He knows Nelson and Cobb and Lacey are all going to be prime. There he goes. He goes to Boykin. Those guys are going to be double teamed more often than not. It's a dump off, incomplete on the quarterback's card. So good sequence of plays there for the Broncos. Who we got there? Is that Jason finally jumped in, or somebody joined us?
Joe, but I don't think I have a mic.
What's up, Joe? I hear you. You got a mic.
Oh, you do? Okay.
Yeah, I heard some background noise there, so I knew you had something. So that's the mighty Joe Golden.
Oh yeah, right.
Jersey Joe in the house. So feel free to jump. Feel free to do color commentary. I don't know if you were watching on your own before this, but just to give you a quick recap in case you weren't, the Broncos jumped out to a 14-0 lead thanks to a couple of turnovers by the Packers, and then the tables turned and run right to C.J. Anderson. The Packers outscored the Broncos 28-3 over the next sequence of plays, and we wound up with a 14-point lead for the Packers going into halftime.
I see Green Bay had 24 points in the second quarter. Must have been turnovers.
Oh yeah, Peyton Manning interception spree. He's thrown 4 interceptions on the day today. After coming in here, we saw Rodgers turn the ball over on a snap fumble and a pick. So it's been all Packers since then. But in the second half, the Broncos took the kickoff, got down to the 2-yard line. We're facing a 4th and 2, and they decided to kick a field goal to cut the lead from 14 to 11. And then the Packers drove past midfield, but wound up having to punt the ball. So this is the Packers' the Broncos facing a 3rd and 5, trailing by 11. Short pass to Demaryius Thomas. It'll be guessed right. 4-minute zone. Peyton finally comes through with a completion, plus 14. Peyton has hit a couple times deep on that 10 roll for plus 29, but the picks, he keeps landing on 11. And look at that 11 guessed right chance, 2 through 8 and 12, and It's hit those numbers every single time he had a split chance, and he's.
I can hear him there on that play. I can hear him going, Omaha, Omaha.
I guess so. He needs to pick a new city. Omaha isn't working. End run right to C.J. Anderson. It's guessed right as Rob flooded the two outside flats with two men. Would have been +3 guessed right or guessed wrong. So 2nd and 7, Broncos driving. If they can get points here, even if it's not a touchdown, ideally you'd like to get a touchdown. Cut it to 3 or 4 points, depending on if you go for 2. But if you drive and at least get points, you give yourself a chance. End run right to C.J. Anderson. It's going to be guessed wrong. 0 men in zone.
Some linebackers come up.
He did not move his linebackers. Remember, we use individual fumbles, so even with a linebacker there, it still would have not been a fumble, but it breaks containment.
I was just watching the replay, watching the linebacker come up.
Yeah, he wasn't there initially, but he had to come up and make that tackle. So 3rd and 4, no containment here. Broncos go I formation. Packers respond with a 3-4. Remember, their 3-4 has 2-0 outside linebackers as he shifts Clay Matthews and his 6th-rated run D inside to help off tackle on linebacker. Is this looking past Julius Thomas? One man there, guessed wrong. But remember, Denver's card.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, he got that with 6 white die rule. Denver's card has a lot of blanks there, so that without the 6, that would have been incomplete and would have forced him to make a decision. Now, put yourself in the Broncos' shoes here, Joe. Would you have gone for it there? Is this 4-down territory yet? Or do you punt?
I wouldn't say. I think it's 3rd quarter. You got Peyton Manning. You got time.
You got time, but that Packers offense is so hard to stop in this rule set. I would have gone. I would have gone for it, but that's because I'm crazy. Off tackle left to C.J. Anderson, 1 man in zone. It'll be guessed wrong on Anderson's card. Linebacker in zone. Clay Matthews in that 6. Remember, I told you he likes to put him inside in the 3-4 just for situations like this. Look at the juicy 7 and 8 roll. We haven't seen that too much. Anderson's hit that a couple times early in the first half, but Rob's been doing a good job of bringing a guy down, knowing that when Dan's in the I formation, he has Virgil Green, 6 run blocker, and 2 5s on the left side, so he likes to run that way. Linebuck draw to C.J. Anderson. Guess wrong, 0 men in zone.
Can I get my screen bigger, Dennis, by chance? Because I can't see the game too well.
Well, if I was you, I would use the watch game feature so you could watch it full screen. I don't know what kind of control you have over there on Google Hangouts.
I don't think you're broadcasting full screen because I got a lot of side space.
Yeah, you're looking at my screen, and I think you're getting a lot of side space because your resolution is lower than mine. So I would use the watch game feature. Pull up the game, and they send out the IP. Do you have the files loaded?
Yeah, but then I can't talk.
Sure, you can keep talking. You can keep this open. Just have that on your screen, so you're looking at that, and you're talking. Don't close this down. Just open up your strat game. Use watch game feature, and then you can keep talking and responding based on what you see on your screen. Dan had to take a quick time out here. He says, hold on a minute, or hold one. Maybe his wife's talking to him. You know, that's one of the unknown features in Strat, the untalked about features. If you got your wife around and she's bugging you, when are you going to get off that computer? I need you to go clean the garage. I need you to take out the trash. You're like, sweetheart, please, give me a second. Give me a second.
I just saw the Dick Vermeil special, and there was none of that.
Yeah, no, you don't have that in the NFL. That's one of the differences between playing a simulation of the NFL and actually coaching in the NFL. A lot of us, yeah, a lot of us think we could do the job of Dick Vermeil or Pete Carroll or Jeff Fisher, but it's a lot harder than it looks.
Rams were happy to have him.
Yeah, I'm happy to go 7-9 or 8-8 every year. I get you. I'm happy with him too.
No, Dick Vermeil, he was good in '99.
Oh, Dick Vermeil was fantastic. I'm talking about Jeff Fisher, but maybe Jared Goff will be the missing piece there to get them over the hump because they got an outstanding defense. Their personnel has gotten better each and every year. But it's that quarterback hole that just hasn't gotten them over the hump.
Well, there's only one team that they really do well beating, so.
That's
We
the
won't-
Seattle Seahawks. There, that's what I'm talking about. Get in there with that zinger.
Oh,
Yeah, I love it. I love it. Okay, we got linebacker.
Pass working against the
So yeah, I saw the spectator join, so you're able to see it now, right?
I believe so. Yeah, I don't see anything yet, so they're not doing anything, right?
Yeah, they're just waiting. But at least you can get your screen, get all adjusted. It should be interesting. The NFC West, with the Rams now out in my area, they'll do better.
Yeah, fans will fold up again, fold up.
No, but I think they'll have a lot of initial support. They'll fill up that Coliseum. A lot of people are excited about them coming back.
I'm looking forward to the new stadium. That place looks awesome.
Yeah, it's going to be fantastic for sure. I would
It
love
cost them,
to.
what, $1 billion?
Something like that, but that guy can afford it. Kroenke's got more money than majority of the NFL owners, so he'll be fine.
Oh yeah.
We'll see if the Rams wind up hosting the Raiders or the Chargers as co-tenants if they can't find other deals. The Raiders are now skewing towards Vegas, which would be cool.
Yeah, I think the Chargers are going to be in there with the Rams. Listen,
Yeah.
I'm envisioning 70s again. They're going to go back to those 70s unis and bring back all those players. Yeah.
So we got Joe here on the broadcast. We got Lawrence on the broadcast too. We got PJ Paul Conti on saying hi, and Mike M. Who does Mike coach? Carolina, I think. Mike Martin, is that his name? So
It's Nemo.
No, that's Coach Nemo. He always puts Coach Nemo. This is Mike Martin, I think. Let me pull that
Oh,
up.
I got you.
Okay.
Ah.
Mike Nemurska uses Coach Nemo as his AIM name,
Right.
or as his chat
For
name.
that exact reason,
Yeah, it does relieve
that
the.
reason.
Let's look at the league.
Back to the game.
All right. So we had a offensive center +7 or +3, picked up only 3 yards, and there was an injury. Sam Shields goes out. He's a 4-rated defensive end. Let's look at Mike. Yeah, Mike Martin is the coach of the Titans, not the Carolina Panthers. So
who's coaching Green Bay here? Who do we have? Just to
Rob
refresh.
DiNardo is the Green Bay coach, and
Oh, okay. Coach.
Dan Morin is the coach of the Broncos.
Oh, another good coach.
Yeah, both of them are excellent, and they've coached the game well. Flat pass left to Julius Thomas, risking the strong safety containment here. Single covered, it'll be guessed wrong on the quarterback's card, and he is contained because remember, as I said, it is.
Whatever. I didn't see it.
He's a 6-rated. It's what's his name? Morgan Burnett. He's a 4-6, so he's 4 against the pass, 6 against the run. So he will always contain, no matter what the white die is, on those third downs. See, there he is. But now it sets up a 4th and 1, and this is definitely go for territory. You're only going to pick up about 21 yards if you punt it. Third quarter, 54 seconds to go. Short pass to Demaryius Thomas. Guessed right. 3-minute zone. Payton comes through with 11-yard hit. Big play there. Now there was.
Sounds like he did the first half.
Yeah, he's getting a little better here. There was a D there, so if it had hit an incompletion, it would have been a dump off. So there was a lot of chances there to pick up that first down, not just what you saw there. Looking past Julius Thomas, 2-minute zone. High chance for interception on the D card, but guessed wrong on the O card. Picks up 12. 31-20. Fourth quarter is just starting. Broncos are driving, and they can cut this to an 8-point lead, or 7 if they decide to go for 2. What about you, Joe? You go for 2 here if you get the touchdown, or is it too early in the fourth quarter?
I would probably not go for it.
Flat pass right to C.J. Anderson. He's an A yak receiver, but it goes on the D card. Those Packers are sneaky good against the pass.
CJ over 100 yards, I see. 112, 19.
Yep. He has hit those short gains a couple times early. We saw that +17 on the line buck. He's hit a short gain. Nothing on his card. Nothing really big on his card. Flat pass left to Thomas, double covered by the free safety, and that's incomplete. And there's a holding call against Denver. So That'll back it up. It'll be 2nd and 20. Again, you want to at least get points here.
Has
So
he been
that's-
on those zero linebackers in earlier?
He tries. Flat passes, again, in this rule set, flat passes are such a focus. Now, an interesting point here, if he had been doubling somebody else, or if he had thrown it to a different receiver, it would have been guessed wrong on the receiver card. Short pass to Julius Thomas picks up 12 because of that flats as runs rule. So now that makes it a makeable 3rd and 8. Again, I still don't see anything wrong with going flat here. If you can make it, you get down to a 4th and 1, 4th and 2. But
I agree.
Peyton's been hot lately, so maybe he's just going to trust in Peyton, hope for a dump off or a hit on Peyton's card. Looking past to Thomas, it's going to be guessed right, goes for 6. That'll be 4th and 2. The reason you go look in there is there is no containment. So if he had hit that short gain or hit a receiver reading on Thomas's card, it would have been good. Goes for the field goal. Now we saw him on 4th and goal at the 2, kicked a field goal, made it an 11-point lead. Now again, 4th and goal from the 12, he kicks it, makes it an 8-point lead. So it's a single score lead here. He needs a touchdown, 2-point conversion to tie. But there's 13-12 to go. He's done a much better job here in the second half of stopping that Packers offense. Of course, it helps when you're not throwing picks and giving up short fields to try to defend.
Wow, Rodgers is 48%, huh? Ooh.
Yeah, so Dan's been making calls, but it's still tough to stop them.
Three tough to stop him.
Three wide for the Packers, 3-3-5 for the Broncos. There is no easy solution here. There's no easy way to stop this Packers offense. You got to make good calls, and you need to make 2 or 3 good calls in a row. Looking past the Corliss. Now that's what I'm talking about. That's an excellent call. Double T covered by the free safety. Receiver reading incomplete. 2nd and 10. Now he needs 1 more of those to set up a 3rd and long. The Packers.
It's 2 men. It's 2 men.
2 men because the free safety was double covering Corliss, and he followed him into the zone. So you had the middle linebacker and the free safety there. 2nd and 10, 3 wide against 3-3-5 again. And again, the Packers have A-rated yak receivers in Cobb and Lacey and a B-rated yak receiver in Nelson. Then you got guys like Boykin and Corliss who aren't going to be doubled as much. So you can throw short to them and hope to hit on Rodgers' card. The Broncos have good...
It's like both these low coverage ratings.
Yes. The Broncos have a good run defense on their card, so they can, go ahead and call pass a little bit more than a normal team would. So you got 4s covering Cobb, Corliss, and Boykin. You've got 6s covering Lacey and Nelson. You've got a 5 free safety. You're not showing blitz here. Short pass to Nelson against a run call. 4 men on the D card, but guessed wrong on Nelson's card and on Rodgers' card. That's trouble. And it's a max receiver reading plus 13 for the Packers' 1st down.
Nelson, old pro.
Yeah, and if you had called pass, it still would have been 13 yards. So you start it all over again. Like I said, you can make 1 good call, but can you make 2 or 3 in a row? Off tackle right to Eddie Lacy. Or get lucky. Have that land on the +1 or +2 card on the D card. It did not. It landed on a short gain on Lacey's card, guessed wrong, and that's another 1st down. Lacey, 11 runs for 61 yards. 1st and 10.
Take a couple of risks here to slow. Denver to take a couple of risks to slow him down here, not let him carry us all the way through in the 4th quarter. Got to stop him.
Off tackle left, or off tackle right to Lacey. Guessed right, 1 man in zone. But it still hits on a good number for the Packers. You'll take a +4 reading in that situation. +4, guessed wrong, guessed right.
Still a good call, short yardage.
Yeah, but there's a difference between a good call and an excellent call. Now, if he had keyed Lacey, that would have been excellent. But it's tough to do that because you're really opening yourself up with other holes. 3 wide against 3-3-5. Look into Jarrett Boykin. 0 men in zone and a run call. That's going to go for 13 and a 1st down. This is what I'm saying. Even if there would have been 1 man in zone, That's a 0-rated pass block or pass defender there for the middle linebacker. That would have been short gain, or plus 13. It's so tough to stop them. So many things you have to worry about. Got another spectator joining us. 1st and 10, Packers inside Broncos territory. 3 wide, 3-3-5. It's got to be perfect. Left to Jordy Nelson, 6 pass defender. Guessed right on the quarterback's card. That's a good call. Incomplete. 2nd and 10. Now you need 2 more. You got to stack those good calls to stop this excellent team. And like Joe was saying, you got to take some risks. Maybe you show blitz here and bring the house. That doesn't seem to be an option. I mean, you are risking. You need to get on where the free safety or Von Miller's reading to get a decent chance for a sack. Short pass to Cobb, double team. Now that's an excellent call.
Oh.
Incomplete. It's 3rd and 10. That's exactly what Dan needed.
He needs 10 yards. That first down, put him through the use. Now he's going to have to suffer. Struggle, I mean.
Yeah, but you see what I'm saying about how tough it is, because if he had gone to a flat pass there, you might say, I got to call run to get flats is right. But a short pass guessed wrong there would have been plus 17. So there's so many ways that this Packer team can beat you.
Mm-hmm.
3rd and 10. Got a double team here, but double team correctly. Now look at this. You have, if you go for the old triple double team here, you're leaving your flats open. He could throw a little dink pass to Eddie Lacy and make it to get into field goal range and make it a 2-score game again. So
he's got the containment on again too, right? Another 6.
Right. Exactly. Long pass to Boykin, covered by a 0 men in zone. Guessed right. He wants it on the quarterback's card. It hits on the D card, but it hits a friendly receiver reading, and Boykin doesn't have anything there, only a plus 25 on 11, so he will have to punt. But gosh, if you had hit 3, 4, 5, 8, 9, that would have been a long gain and possibly a touchdown.
Game breaker.
It goes into the end zone. Another good result for the Broncos. They'll take over 1st and 10 at their own 20.
Riding that momentum. Denver's on that momentum.
Yep, 9:18 to go in the game. He can drive it down and tie the game. This is definitely, I think, go for 2 situation of course, but this is also, I think, if you get in 4th and short, you're going to go for it. Looking past to Julius Thomas against the run call. Plus 12. You don't want to give the ball back to the Packers again with a chance to increase it to a 2-score lead. 8:42 to go in the Super Bowl. Go big or go home. 3 wide, 3-3-5. Long pass to Thomas. Guessed right, but 0 men in the zone. Peyton Manning! Long gain down to the 5-yard line. 63-yard connection. Peyton says, I got to forget about those 4 interceptions. It's go big or go home, and I just went big. Joe, what do you think?
I say there was no Omaha there. He was going California.
Yeah, forget Omaha. That was more like a Bakersfield. Line buck to C.J. Anderson. Guessed right, 0 yards.
Plus he got it on a long gain. He didn't even get it on the 0 men. So
yeah,
Manning, June.
That Packers 0 men in zone card is not that great. It gives Rob a lot of flexibility to move that free safety. He dropped him down to a flat there. 2nd and goal here. Full house. Do you throw? Do you run? Short pass to C.J. Anderson. Defender extra plus 15. Touchdown, Broncos. Mike Neal. Remember, when he goes to a 3-4, he shifts Clay Matthews inside for his run reading, but that means Mike Neal comes into the game. He's a 0-rated pass defender. Dan saw that, targeted him. The white die 4 was good enough to beat him. So now we have a huge play. 31-29. 2-point conversion time. It's a run call. Short pass. Showing blitz. That's an auto. Sniper scope. Auto completion. It's a tie game, folks.
Wow.
Look at this. 7:30 to go in the game. The Packers get the ball, and the Broncos have closed a 14-point gap. He went for field goals there where I may have gone for it, but it proved to be the right call because he was inched closer both times, and now he was able to close it with a touchdown and a 2-point conversion. Oh, my. We got ourselves a game, folks. This isn't going to be a typical Super Bowl blowout. This is coming down to the wire. Flat pass right to Cobb.
To the 4th quarter. That was nice.
Plus 3. Yeah, +3 on the D card. That would have been a guessed wrong reading on an A yak receiver. That could have been big yards there, but it went on the D card, and it was not a 6. 2nd and 7. Packers out to their own 23. 6:54 to go. Squeaky bum time as both coaches are feeling the pressure. But without that pressure, you're not going to turn Cole into a diamond. Flat pass right to Cobb. Here we go. Again, another yak, but there's 2 men in zone. Goes on the quarterback's card. Receiver reading for +8, but it's wiped out with a receiver with an offsetting penalty call. So penalties, we haven't really had too many penalties here in the second half. That was a big one there. Wiped out a first down. I formation, 4-3. And remember, when the Broncos get the ball back, C.J. Anderson is now into his fatigue run. Short pass to Nelson. Guess wrong. Max receiver. +18. Lots
I
of
don't think
juice
Green
there.
Bay wants to give him the ball back either. Not off a field goal.
Yeah, I think Green Bay's main emphasis right now is to get points. You know, they've gone the whole second half after scoring 31 first half points. They've been held scoreless in the second half, and there's only 6:18 to go. Looking past to Nelson, guessed wrong. It'll be guessed wrong on the quarterback's card. It's a B yak, and he goes from +2 to +13 as it's modified by 11 on the yak chart. 1st and 10 into Broncos territory. 5:42 to go.
The big blocker in there.
John Kuhn comes into the game. I formation. But when you got a quarterback like Aaron Rodgers, it's tough to run the ball. You want to keep throwing it. Short pass to Jordy Nelson. Guessed right. 3 men in zone. +23 on the dump off. That takes it inside the 25 at the 23-yard line. There was a sack chance. Terrence Knighton's 3 rating could not do anything against Josh Sitton's 7 rating. Packers have pretty good pass blocking. And that means
Jordy Nelson, Chris Harris looked bad.
Yes, for sure. Line buck to Eddie Nelson. Guessed wrong. 0 men in zone goes for +4. 2nd and 6 inside the red zone. 4:30 to go in the game. If you're the Broncos now, you want to hold them to a field goal. You want to give your
Interestingly, he hasn't shied away from the sticks with Jordy there.
no. He's fine throwing it to Jordy, knowing that he has a chance for dump offs. He's got Jordy's excellent receiver reading. 2nd and 6. 4:30 to go. Off tackle right to Lacey. Guessed wrong. 0 men in zone. Only goes for +2, but there's a penalty. Offsides, which I look at as illegal formation on the offense. Back it up 5. 2nd and 11. 3 wide for the Packers. Broncos respond with the 3-3-5. This is where you make your money if you're an offensive or a defensive coordinator. If you're a head coach calling these plays, you got to make the right calls. You got to make the right moves in this cat and mouse game. 2nd and 11. At the Broncos 24. Off tackle right to Lacey. Good call. He put the linebacker in the wrong zone, or the free safety in the wrong zone. But offensive onside guard +5 or +0 does not make the play, but there's a hold. So not only do you get, he had a chance. It could have been 3rd and 11, but instead he decided to back it up. 2nd and 21 now at the Broncos 34.
Does he go for the touchdown, or is he looking field goal?
I think he's looking to cut this down and make it and bring it up to a makeable 3rd down. 4-2-5 showing blitz. Again, you might see a full house blitz here. The Broncos D-line is pretty bad outside of DeMarcus Ware, but you bring in the free safety, Von Miller, and Ware, you get 3 out of the 6 chances of having a decent pass rush. Flat pass right to Eddie Lacey. Guessed wrong on the quarterback's card. He's an A yak reading. Lacey busted from +3 to +22 or +25. That picks up the 1st down. So 2nd and 21. That's a killer. 3:36 to go in the game. Eddie Lacey says, "I am not fat. I am just right." As he swivels those hips, takes it down inside the 10. He may be big, but he's hard to bring down. TJ Ward finally did bring him down, but man, that's a killer. I like the idea of bringing the house. Dan does too. But man, that was a great call by Rob.
Mm-hmm.
6-5. 13 chances for a yak reading there. Off tackle right to Lacey. He calls run. Nice call, as that turns that from a short gain into, or no, turns it from a +2 to a 0. I think Lacey has a short gain on 7 on a line buck. 4-3 showing blitz. Again, you got some decent pass rushers with the linebackers and the free safety. But Rogers is so deadly. Guessed right or guessed wrong. You got to make your call right here. Short pass to Corliss. 4 men in zone. He does not bring the free safety. 11. Incomplete. 3rd and 9. Big play here. 2:42 to go in the game. Tick, 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 tick. The
Aaron Rodgers
Packers.
is going to have to move back on this one.
Yep. He's going to earn his money here. 4-2-5 showing blitz. I think you bring the house here, or you bring the free safety at least, so you give yourself 3 out of 6 chances for a decent pass rush.
He's been throwing at those 6s, too.
He has been. Watch him go to Boykin or Corliss here. He does go to Boykin. Here comes the free safety. We got ourselves a sack chance, but no sack. +11 touchdown. 1x. What a time for the 1x. So that eliminated all chances for a sack. Even if you double team Boykin, there is nothing you could have done on that play, as the 1x takes away the sack chance. So we got the Packers up by 7, 2:24 to go, and the Broncos will get the ball with a chance to drive it down and send it to overtime. I don't think Dan would go for 2, but that's also a viable strategy if it's like under 30 seconds to play. It is a 16-yard return. The Broncos will take over at their own 19. The number 2 kickoff returner for the Broncos is Andre Caldwell, and he is no Omar Bolden. C.J. Anderson stays in the game despite his fatigue rating. He's not going to be running him much, but he has that A yak rating. Rob knows that. Rob will be looking to double cover Anderson and Thomas. Off tackle left. So much for my idea that he wasn't going to run. He only picks up a yard there. Remember, the Packers have some juicy short gains there, so maybe with the 2-minute warning there, he decided to give the run a shot. He's got 3 timeouts. 2nd and 9. Anderson, 21 runs for 113 yards today. Short pass to Thomas. Guessed right. But Manning says, I can do it. Trust in me. First down for the Broncos. Out to their 31. 1:37 to go as he goes, hurry up. You're going to get to the point here where you're going to start needing to use those timeouts. I think Dan's wanting to save them. Flat pass left to C.J. Anderson. +51 on the guess wrong. Holy moly. Oh, my stars and garters. What a time for that guess wrong receiver box cars to come up. You know what? C.J. Anderson's so good, that would have been +51 guessed right or guessed wrong. That's his biggest reception of the year, and what a time for it to come up in the Super Bowl. Manning, 400 yards today, 27 of 45, 2 touchdowns, 4 interceptions. We might have a freeze here, as my over-exuberance on the call has shorted out the wires between the 2 computers.
Knock the skirts off them cheerleaders on that one, Dennis. I don't know.
Maybe.
Alrighty then.
It doesn't matter if the play saved or not. If it doesn't, that play counts. You just take over and host, Dan, if you need to. That gives the Broncos fan some life.
Thrilling game.
It is. It's really fun. So let's go back and see if we can watch again.
I'm glad I popped in at a good time.
Yeah.
They were down when I came in, and they're moving the ball ever since.
It's been some juicy stuff with no turnovers either. You missed like 6 turnovers in the first half.
Peyton's been on fire since I came in here in the second half.
Well, at least he hasn't thrown any interceptions. That's almost as important as being on fire. Just don't turn the ball over.
Listen, I cringe when I think of Super Bowls and overtime, but this could be all right.
It could be. Let's see what we got here. It looks like the 2 teams are connected.
Mm-hmm.
When you watch the game as a spectator, you don't get to see the field until after one of them hits their formation. So here we are. 1st and 10, 1:07 to go, fourth quarter. Broncos 3 wide against a 3-3-5. They go hurry up to keep the Packers in their 3 wide formation. The flat passes are in play. Look for Rob to flood the flats, maybe call run, as he tries to stop Peyton. It's a looking pass to C.J. Anderson. Plus 16 takes it down to the 2. So he did flood the flats. He brought his free safety up, covered up the 0, but the white die 6 came into play, and now the defense uses a timeout. 1 minute to go in the game. They're worried about getting enough time to get the ball back and get a late field goal to win it. But first things first, the Broncos need to get into the end zone. And with that Packers run defense, you can bet your bottom dollar you're going to see a run here. Look for C.J. Hillman or Peyton Manning on a sneak. You might see C.J. Anderson too. That fatigue showing may. Oh no, short pass. I guess that's all right. But if that had hit a 9 and been picked off, Dan would be kicking himself. You got 4 chances to get 2 yards against one of the worst run defenses in Strat in this set. You got to run the ball. Again, he throws it. Another incomplete. Dan, he's our man.
Oh.
If he can throw a pick, anyone can. 28 of 48, 2 chances. Going for Peyton Manning's guest run card, but can we run it here? 45 seconds left. At least make him use his timeouts. Another short pass. He says, forget you, Dennis. I know what I'm doing. I'm going to throw a touchdown, and he does. That would have been a 9 on the defensive card, though. He would not. He would have a sick feeling in his stomach.
There we go.
It's up and good. 38, 30 seconds left. It's a touchback. The Broncos will need to hold on here against the Pack. And remember, Aqib Talib is out of the game, so you got Cobb covered by a 4 or a 0. You got 1-6 cornerback in the game. That's Chris Harris. He's covering Nelson. So Cobb's covered by a 0. The free safety's a 4. Oh no, he's a 5. He switched it up. No, he didn't. So he brought in his extra he was playing a 0 there. He forgot he had Bradley Roby there. Brings him in. Flat pass right, 2-minute zone. Oh my, if it goes in the D card here, it's a pick! It is intercepted by the Broncos. Are you kidding me? Rob tries to do what Dan did in going flat to his A-rated Yak halfback, and it blows up in his face as Dan wisely puts 2 men in that flat, and it hits. What a time to hit. It's only 3 out of 36 chance for an interception, but it hit it. And that's all that counts. 22 seconds left. Broncos are poised to win the game after after going up 14, going behind by 14. Peyton Manning stuck with it. Despite his 4 interceptions, it's going to be Aaron Rodgers' second interception of the game that's going to decide this, folks. C.J. Anderson in the game. Do not throw here. Run it. You got an excellent field goal kicker. You do not want to turn the ball over.
It's 10 and 11 bad, and if he gets inside the 12, just 12.
Short gain. Forget the field goal. It's a touchdown. The bench is going. C.J., kneel down. Don't go in the end zone. Don't go in the end zone. He says, I'm going for that. I'm going for that Super Bowl.
Wow.
But it's all right. There's only 8 seconds left. So what a turn of events.
Wow.
14 points in the last minute of the game.
25 fourth quarter points.
Juwan Harris does not have a touchdown, so he's going to take a knee here. He's going to give Aaron Rodgers 2 shots at this apple. But goodness gracious, what a turn of events. What a Super Bowl, folks. You know, I feel bad for not making it, but I'm kind of glad in a way. This has been an epic Super Bowl, one of the best I've ever seen. And I hope to God I hit the start broadcast on the let's check it. Yes, I did. So we have captured this. We have captured the excitement. We have captured the glory. We have captured Dan Morin closing in on his first USFFL Super Bowl. Now, let's take a quick look at the rules here. we play with do not allow longest reception. So it's a looking past the Cobb, being double covered. Goes for 8 yards. He'll call timeout here. So you need to throw it to a receiver which has a dot. Cobb has a dot.
Jordy Nelson, 80.
Nelson has a dot. That's it. Maybe Lacey. Does Lacey have a dot? Lacey has 67-yard long one, which still it won't help here. So this is one of the faults of Strat. In the last minute, they should take away those maximums because if you double team Cobb and Nelson, the game's over. Lacey, even if he gets a long gain, the longest he can go is 67 yards. Corliss, the longest he can go is probably like 30 yards. Let's check it out. Yeah, he goes 34. Boykin probably goes 22, 23 yards at the most. Remember, he lost Devontae Adams earlier in the game. So all you need to do is go 3-2-6, take those two DBs, double Cobb and Nelson, and it's game over. Looking past Lacey, even if it gets a long gain, the most it's going to go is 67 yards, folks. So picks up 10, ball game over, Super Bowl over, the Broncos win. Broncos win.
Looking at the scoreboard, 24 in the second quarter and 25 in the fourth quarter.
Oh my! These teams, it was really a great Super Bowl. You had so many swings and roundabouts in this game. The Packers go up. They fall behind by 14. They turn the ball over twice on their first two drives. The Broncos take advantage, take it in for a 14-0 lead. Then it's all Packers as Peyton Manning and the interception squad turn it on and throw 4 picks, which turn into 24 Broncos second quarter points, and they are up 14 at halftime. Then the Broncos get tough on defense. They shut out the Packers up until they tie it up after 2 field goals and a touchdown with a 2-point conversion. It's a tie game, and then we go back and forth. The Packers go up by 7. The Broncos tie it. And then that late interception on 2-minute zone flat pass gives the Broncos the ball, and they run it in for a touchdown, and that is the game, folks. 45-38. The Denver Broncos, representing the AFC, win the Super Bowl over the NFC-led Packers.
That was a great call. That call got him to win the Super Bowl, the 2-minute zone.
And
great call.
Yeah, you can make great calls like that, but unless the dice cooperate too. We've all made calls where we've had 2-minute zone, and it goes on the quarterback's card for a short gain, guessed right. It's like, what the heck? But that time, the call was right, the roll was right, and 2 big plays. I mean, that, as they're talking about here, Dan's talking about, you had the 51-yard flat pass reception on C.J. Anderson's card on boxcars. That got them deep into Packers territory. Otherwise, they would have had to drive the entire field with time running out. That got them there. And then that last play, the interception, just fantastic. And what do we say about that 90% chance that you win if you get a pick 6? Well, this is one of those 10% chances where it turned around. You had plenty of turnovers on the Packers side that helped the Broncos get short fields as well. But, man, just fantastic. Rob's talking about the long gain with 3. That's another big play. Long gain, 3-minute zone on 4th and 2. That got the Packers a touchdown. If he had moved his free safety up there, that would have been a turnover on down. So so many big plays, so many great calls. What a Super Bowl. Joe, Lawrence, tell me, what do you think?
It was great.
The Packers, though, they have to be feeling like a little bit frustrated, feeling like, how did we let this slip away with a team that could move the ball so well with that kind of lead? You know, I mean, it's a crazy, crazy effort for Denver to win that game. But the Packers, they kind of had it in their hands, and somehow this slipped away.
Yeah, they got to be kicking themselves. 14-point lead with that offense. What happened? Lawrence, Joe, what do you think? That was Lawrence, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. So Joe, what are your thoughts?
Well, yeah. I mean, Green Bay had the great opportunity. They really didn't move the ball much in the fourth quarter, and some really good calls by Dan as well. And the dice went his way, and bang.
Absolutely.
That's what it's all.
It is what it's all about. Man. Just a fantastic Super Bowl. This might be one of the best Super Bowls I've ever seen, NFL, Strat, or otherwise. I'm going to see if
Definitely a
we,
great one to tune into.
yeah, I'm going to see if we can get Dan on the broadcast.
83 points. You expect that against those defenses, and there it was.
Yeah. The Packers have a very good pass defense, but their run defense gives it up. The problem with the Broncos is that C.J. Anderson, you only get about 19, 20 carries before he fatigues. So he got 128 yards. Really, the game was decided in the air. Peyton's 418 yards, Aaron Rodgers 300 yards, and the turnovers. 6 interceptions total.
And rushing, that is great, CJ.
Yeah, for sure. So Dan's going to try to come on with us. He's got to take his dog out or something. But we had a 60. Remember another play. We had that Peyton Manning 63-yard bomb, guessed right on a long pass. If that had been an interception on the it would have been a 7 on the D cards, or one of Peyton's interception, he has a straight pick on 12 and a 2 through 10 on 11. That could have turned the game around. He avoided those interception splits in the second half. But Denver, 553 yards of offense. The Packers nearly 400 yards of offense. Really, the Packers, did they go conservative in the second half, or was it just really good calls and rolls on the Broncos' part?
That was good. I thought it was good defense, good calls, and the dice didn't help.
Yeah, I didn't really see a lot of long passes. I think maybe a few more long passes put a little bit more pressure on, because Dan was moving his free safety quite a bit.
Well, he could have thrown to Cobb maybe a little bit more.
Right, but that last
it seemed like
pass.
There was a period where he didn't. Earlier on, though, it seemed like he was ignoring him, and you were commenting that he knew that he had it in his hand, and he did throw, but for a guy being covered by 0, maybe could have gone to him a little bit more.
Right, put the pressure on, throw it up there, go big or go home. But he was happy with those flat passes, and they were working pretty well. But there was a couple times where it landed on the D card, or Dan had the right guy double teamed, and they kind of fluttered out. So I'm going to stop sharing my screen here so we can all talk.
Hey, I'm actually I didn't join the spectator part of the game. I'm just watching this on my iPad.
Oh, cool.
On just your Hangouts thing, yeah.
Nice. And how did it come through on that?
It's just a little bit small, but otherwise it's perfect.
Cool. Yeah, it's a really nice way for us to do the podcast. And, stay tuned. We're going to be putting out a ratings podcast as soon as Strat pops the ratings down in a couple weeks. So it's a nice way. Google Hangouts is just a nice way for us to put something up. Not a lot of production time needed, not a lot of editing needed. We just record and go, which means sometimes you get some mess ups, some screw ups, some technical difficulties, but in the end you get a couple guys talking about Strat. So it'd be nice if some of you guys could tune in for that, or jump on I'll let you know when we're going to do it. You guys can jump on and give your opinions too.
Oh yeah, that's exciting time. That's like Christmas when the stats come out.
Yeah, I can't wait for those ratings.
The ratings, yeah.
For sure.
Well, a great commentator, because you know so much about the game. All these things you talk about, I don't know that when I'm playing.
But look,
you know all of the scenarios.
Yeah, there's always something to learn in this game. You can know a lot, and you can still learn something. But look at the yards per catch for the Broncos. You had C.J. Anderson with that big 51-yard catch, averaged 20 yards per reception. Demaryius Thomas averaged 16, and Emmanuel Sanders averaged 22. He hit Sanders on a couple of bombs, 29-yard hits on his guest right card. So that boosted his yardage up. So he went big, and he was rewarded. Okay, I'm going to email Dan the link. Dan's going to join us here.
Dennis, I have to drop off. I'll catch the game later.
Okay, sounds good.
See you, Joe.
All right, man. Take care.
All right. So let's get down here and do a quick post-game interview, and then we'll wrap it up. So I'm going to stop screen sharing, stop presenting, and I'll stop screen sharing as well. All right. Let's see if I can get the lighting right here. I got scruffy Dennis, as I didn't shave today, but so we do have a little. This is the limit of our production value. We open the blinds and let the light through. So Lawrence, how do you feel about your team's prospects for next year? You coach the Chicago Bears, am I right? Who do you coach?
No,
You go. You
For
coach the
USFL
49ers. You are the 49ers.
49ers, yeah.
Oh well, then let's not talk about the 49ers then.
Yeah, let's change the subject.
They're going to struggle a little bit next year, but maybe.
Yeah, I think so.
I think Chip Kelly will get them turned around. How's your move to Wisconsin going? Are you is that in the works still? Are you got an ETA on that?
We're probably not till like 2020. I want to try to just max out my work a little bit longer.
Oh, gotcha. So, how about your draft team then? You're no longer in SFFTL, but you're still in SOMIFA, right?
Right. SOMIFA and Autumn Wind.
Nice. So tell me about your quarterback and halfbacks in those leagues. Remind me.
Well, I have so many. I'm like not as many leagues as you, but now I'm like kind of drawing a little bit of a blank on that. I think Autumn Wind, the main problem I have is I have a quarterback issue because I have only Sam Bradford. You know, which might have been not too bad last year, but I'm kind of like a little bit screwed, and I don't have a good enough running back situation either. So the rest of my team's not that bad, but
gotcha.
A little hamstrung.
Let me go over to. I'll remind you who your combo is. I have my spreadsheets up here. I haven't really started looking at things for next year yet, or thinking about them. But let me check. Just waiting on Dan's laptop to boot up so he can join us and we can talk Super Bowl. So where's my SOMIFA rosters? Here it is.
Oh yeah, SOMIFA. Who do I have?
So
you
got Colin Kaepernick and Derek Anderson as your quarterback, and your running backs are Darren McFadden. So McFadden will have a nice card. Kaepernick probably not as nice as you'd like to see, but you know some of those must-run quarterbacks are pretty decent, even if you got a decent running back with him. And then you'll probably have a decent pick. Maybe you know where you.
I think I'm the third pick or something.
Yeah, so maybe one of
SOMIFA, yeah.
Well, maybe one of the quarterbacks will fall to you, or maybe you can make a move to.
I'll either get one of the quarterbacks or Gurley.
Oh, that's nice. That's true. Wow, that's perfect. As if you get Gurley, then you can deal McFadden. Maybe package him with somebody else to get a quarterback. So, all right. I think we should have Dan joining us shortly. If not, we'll just shut it down. But it was a great Super Bowl, guys. Really, really fun. Really, so many highs and lows, so many backs and forth. Both coaches showed great sportsmanship. Nobody was giving the old LOLs or whining about their luck. Each one was gracious. One gracious in defeat, one gracious in victory. So, and each of them, pointed out some plays where things went their way. So here we go. We got the Super Bowl winning coach, Stan Morin. Welcome to the podcast, Dan. How you feeling? Oh, you're got to turn your volume up. Can't hear you. Sure. Make sure your mic's not muted. Yeah, take that out. I think that's not working. Can't hear you. Okay. Okay, 1 second. He's going to go grab something. So Dan was to be joined by our sideline reporter. Who would be a good sideline reporter?
Tom.
Yeah, Tom would have been a good one. But I'm talking about if it was an NFL broadcast, we would have had like a, one of those armed candies. Yeah, but instead, the NFL should go like the NBA and bring on like a Craig Sager guy. Get a guy in there with a crazy coat and have him do the sideline reporting. But let's see. Come back, Dan. Come back. He's in his garage. Look at that. He's got a Black & Decker 2 horsepower garage door opener. No, that's a 1.5 horsepower garage door opener. How about now? Talk. Sprechen Sie Deutsch.
There we go.
Okay, now I can hear you, and I can hear your microphone's working.
I had the old iPhone AirPads in it that don't have the microphone on it.
Got it. So talk about a swing of emotions, going up 14 on the early turnovers, and then seeing Peyton Manning implode. Walk us through that. How did it go on your side? What were you doing to keep your emotions in check?
It's interesting. You're going to laugh here, and it's going to seem like I'm blowing smoke in your direction, but I used to get emotional when things like that would happen, and I'd get down and things were going wrong, and then I'd just start, throwing long passes, and I'd be sitting there going, I have to catch up. it's that old thing you hear on TV. You can't when baseball you can't score 8 runs in one swing.
Right.
You can't score 3 touchdowns in one pass. So although it was disappointing, and we always do this, I sat there and I went, oh Jesus, there goes Peyton Manning again, as if Strat dice reflect the playing tendencies of a real NFL pro. And I'm sitting there going,
man, it's happened to me when I have Peyton, so I don't know. I think there's something to it.
I'm sitting there saying, 400 yards in the AFC Championship with 5 touchdowns, and of course he craps his pants in the Super Bowl, and I'm like, here we go, and I'll get to blame it on Peyton Manning when I lose because of my coaching.
I'll have to go back and look, but I think at least 3 of those were on his card, guessed right.
Yep.
That is his Achilles heel. He does have high interceptions, but 4 times having interception splits. I think the 4th one was on the D card, but either way, the rolls kept coming up. But in the second half, I didn't see a single interception split. So it turned around, just like it can do in Strat. And his offense, of course, he benefited from the short fields to get those 24 points in the second quarter. But in the second half, you shut him out until that last touchdown. Walk me through what you were doing defensively to stop that high-powered Packers offense.
And you and I have played enough, and I game planned my brains out for this game, and you and I have played enough, and you probably know I started off as a bend don't break guy forever, and then a couple years ago I said, you know what, I sit back, I lose games, it's time to be aggressive. So sometimes I'm overly aggressive, and it hurt me on a couple plays. I had this thing taped to my computer saying, play conservative, bend don't break, play conservative, because if you look, those Denver flat pass cards are the best in the set. They have the lowest reception numbers in the set.
Yes.
I have a 5 on the left, a 6 on the right, and that 0 in the middle, everybody sees that and says, let's pick on it. I don't double it very often because you know what? 6 chances out of 72 that 0 is going to come into play. I mean,
right.
A 5 and a 4 will get you. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
and the 6 will get Von Miller anyway. So I said, and I had it on my computer, and I said, play conservative, keep your flat zones filled. Because I sat there and said, even if I guess pass, and it's a guess wrong on Rodgers' card, I have a 50% chance of hitting my cards, and I have the best flat pass column in the entire set. It's just fact. So do it that way and let the percentages come your way. You're going to get burned, yeah, but I thought the one time I wasn't conservative, ironically, was that 2nd and 21 or something at the end of the game. Right,
where you brought the house and it hit a yak reading on Eddie Lacy's card for plus 25.
It's like putting a steak in front of somebody who's trying to turn into a vegetarian when you're a hardcore carnivore. I sat there and I said, 2nd and 21, end of the game. I've been conservative all game. Bring the house.
Nice.
And there it was, boom. And then I said, right there, I thought I lost.
Yeah, I pointed out on the broadcast that you got 3 chances for a decent sack chance between Von Miller, the free safety, and DeMarcus Ware. So bringing the house is a great idea. I like your game plan. Folks, this is what you do when you're a successful strat host. You get your plan in mind, you stick to your plan, you work your plan. Let the plan work, and Dan did that. The other play where you got burned, and I don't know if it was necessarily a case of being too aggressive, but just making the wrong guess, was on that 4th and 2 at the 30-something where he threw a short pass to Jordy Nelson and hit the long gain on the D card. If you had put 4 men in zone, that would have been incomplete. Did you consider doubling Jordy there? Because you did call Pat.
Hindsight's 20/20, but I'm telling you, Dennis, up until about a second and a half before I made that call, because I went back, coincidentally, this is also for strat coaches out there, I'm not claiming to be better than anybody, but I went in, like I've seen you do on your Google, I went into his tendencies, and he had a 4th and 1 and 2 twice all year, and he threw a look into Randall Cobb and a short pass to Jordy Nelson. And I said, and it was this thing, what would I do? And ironically, I have the same receiver. You've probably seen this, Dennis. In short yardage situations by the goal line, I throw to Demaryius Thomas short.
Yes.
And because, seriously.
I was killing you for that when you were... When you were about to tie it up and it went like first down, throw, incomplete. 2nd down, throw, incomplete. I'm like, just run it. It's 2 yards. But you stuck with it, threw it to Julius Thomas for the touchdown. That was huge.
I figured he was going to call run every play, and I said, you know what? If he calls run 3 plays in a row, the first time I said he's going to call run. Second time, I said he's probably thinking that I missed on first, I'm going to panic and run on second. So he runs on second, and I said, so I'll call pass again. And then it was incomplete. And then I sat there and I said, I have C.J. Anderson with a red circle around him. It's 3rd and goal at the 2, and he's going to say, and this is where you can outsmart yourself doing this, he's going to go, you know what? He's going to think I'm going to guess pass and double Demarius or Julius, so I'm going to guess run because he's going to run C.J. Anderson guess wrong regardless of the 1-yard loss.
Right. You got that old feint within a feint within a feint, as Frank Herbert would say.
One of my favorite movies ever is The Heist with Gene Hackman. And he says, how do you do what you do? And he said, easy. I try and think of somebody smarter than I am, and I do what they would do.
Nice. I like it. Well, it paid off. The other play that I wanted to bring up was I like the way you said aggressive offensively in the second half. You went long to Emmanuel Sanders or Demaryius Thomas there, and you hit the 8. It was Demaryius Thomas, 63-yard gain.
Yep.
That you must have felt so good when that hit.
Oh, goodness, it was great. I mean, I was excited because, and it's funny, I think people should watch these podcasts, the ones you and Tom do, and the play-by-plays in all these leagues, because you learn so much. I've been playing Strat for a long time, but, just like in real life, you learn something every day. And there are times, honest to God, Dennis, you do so many of these podcasts and you do so many of your games that there are times I don't want to throw long, but then I'm sitting there going, you know what? Take a shot, man. You can hit that number.
Yes, especially when it's on 8.
Yeah, and like I remember, you probably remember the Pittsburgh AFC Championship. I went deep to Jacob Tamme and I hit his only hit on 11, 25 yards.
Yes, that was amazing.
I mean,
and there was a roll like that today with Boykin. He went deep to Boykin and hit his receiver reading. You had so many long gains on 3, 4, 5 defender X on 8 and 9, and he threw to Boykin and it hit the 10, which is a receiver reading, and he had the same thing Tamme has, plus 25 on 11, but of course he missed it. But so in a lot of ways, I think that your defensive calls stymied him, but he also was unlucky a couple times on not missing those rolls, which is going to happen in this strat. You get lucky on some and you get unlucky on some. That's the name of the game. So
he did, but we all get the rolls and we all don't get the rolls, and he hit. He had long gains in the first half. That first interception I threw was a flat pass, guess wrong.
Yeah, I thought he
driving up 14-0.
Right. And he could have gone a little bit more aggressive in the second half. He threw a lot of flats and shorts, which is, you tend to do in this rule set. But I didn't really remember maybe 1 or 2 bombs in the second half where if you have Aaron Rodgers and you lost Aqib Talib, so he had a 0 covering Randall Cobb, I don't think he pressed that enough, trying to go over the top to Cobb. Of course, you would have adjusted maybe to double him a little bit more, but he kind of I kind of ignored him for a lot of the second half, which, opened up other things for him, but, he still had a lot of chances that he could have taken advantage of if he'd have thrown to him.
Yeah, I screwed up at the beginning when Talib went out because I have Boykin as my Roby as my nickelback, and then all of a sudden I played about, I think, a drive and a half where I said, wait a minute, I still have Roby as my nickelback, and I have a 0 on Cobb, so I switched him, and it's funny you say, you're bringing up what you're saying because I think it's a key point. There was a stretch there at the end where he just decided to keep plugging on Jordy Nelson, and I said, he's going to keep doing this. I got to double him. And I said, you know what? He's setting me up. He's going to go to Nelson about 4 or 5 times in a row. I'm going to double him, and he's going to go deep to Cobb, and he's going to win this game. So I sat there. If you noticed, I doubled Cobb. I took a break. He hit Nelson again. I doubled Cobb, and I said, he is going to set me up, and he didn't. And it ended up working out for me in the end. But, I mean, let's be serious. I was down 31-17, it was dire, and then when he scored that last touchdown, I said, this is going to be a problem, and then I got really, really, really lucky. I was looking for yak hits, and I hit for the first time C.J. Anderson's 51-yard gain.
Yeah, that's what this rule set does. In the late game, you have a tendency to sit still, and if you have a yak A or a yak B guy, you can feed him the ball and burn the other coach. Now, speaking of being down 31-17, let's talk about one more thing. 4th and 2, at the 4th and goal at the 2, you kick the field goal. And then later on, 4th and goal at the 12, you kick the field goal. it worked out beautifully for you. You hit the touchdown, you got the 2-point conversion. But how close were you to going for it with that run defense in either of those spots?
I thought about it, but then I looked, and I'm looking at the box score on my iPad right now. There was, what was it? It was about 9 minutes left in the third quarter. It was 31-17. I said, if some stray roll goes bad here and I lose the ball at the 1 or the 2, I'm down 2 touchdowns. I said, I kick a field goal, it's 11 points. I got plenty of time with a really good offense, and it's essentially 2 scores, because if I have to kick a field goal and then go for 8, which I did, go for 2 rather, I kicked a field goal after that. So there was enough time in both of those situations where I said, I'm not gonna just be over aggressive. I'm gonna be patient, and it ended up working out. I got lucky with 2 good rolls, but I mean, luck. I do think the lucky roll came in on C.J. Anderson, and yeah, the roll came in on the interception at the end of the game. But I mean, I'm not trying to sound. I put 2 guys in that zone. It was a good call.
Oh yeah, absolutely. And you knew he was going to be looking for the same thing you were looking for, trying to get that yak to the halfback. So he's throwing flat to a halfback, and you plugged the right zones. Now, remind me, did you put the free safety there, or you moved the middle linebacker over?
Because I have a 0 in the middle, my strategy all year is what I do is I slide the 0 over to the left to protect Von Miller. It gives me 2 on the right, a 5 in the middle with the free safety, and then a 6 on the right. So the only thing anybody can beat me on, like I said, the best flat pass column in the set is a 6 up the middle.
And did you pull the extra DB back to the long zone?
Jesus, did I? Yes, I did. Absolutely.
Okay. Yeah, because
I'm
that would have
almost
been
positive I did.
if it was 0 min in zone on a 3, that's a long gain. So of course, you're always going to do that. I had almost exactly the same thing happened to me in the NFC Championship game, where if I had gone deep, it was a long gain, but threw flat, it was a 2-minute zone pick. So Rob, he is very familiar with that strategy because he used it against me. So I'm sure he's tipping his cap to you and saying, job well done.
Well, he's an outstanding coach, as we both know. As I said in that email, I mean, you take that Washington Redskins team to a Super Bowl a few years ago, you're coach of the year for life. And I watched your game against him probably one and a half times to get tendencies. I jotted down notes, and this is why he's a great coach. He barely did anything he did against you.
Yeah,
Barely.
well, yeah, it's a different team, different strategy, but yeah, you're right. A lot of teams will have things they go to no matter who they're playing. So that's another sign of a good coach. And Rob is great. I think he goes to the Braun Brammer tournament every year. Well, so, he has a lot of experience in the head-to-head. And, I think that's one of the things that is a sign of a good coach, is be able to control yourself emotionally when things go bad, have a plan, stick to the plan. And I think you both did that today. And to be honest, this was a fantastic Super Bowl. It could have gone either way. We were on the verge of going to overtime, which has happened a couple times in USFFL before, but it would have been fun to see today. But I'm sure that you're happy. You got the late pick and then ran it in for the touchdown to win it. So congratulations, Dan. I'm really happy for you, and you're a well-deserved champion.
Oh, thank you, Dennis. It was great. And I'll tell you, you watch those TV shows, the end of sporting events and live TV, and when it ends like that, they put a microphone in front of somebody's face and say, "How do you feel?" And they go, "I just can't even think right now." And I told my 13-year-old daughter, I said, "Come over here." And I said, I just tied up a game, and we're about to go into overtime. I said, "I'm really stressed out." And all of a sudden, I jumped out of my seat, and she goes, "What? Is that good?" And I said, "I can't believe this just happened." And
there you go. That's your good luck charm. Whenever you need some good luck, just call her over.
Yeah. And now, Dennis, I mean, you said, I mean, this was a great game regardless, but have you ever seen, I mean, we don't watch a lot of championships like we do now. We haven't, but I can't remember more just outstanding championship games in all leagues in the last 6 months or 8 months. I mean, it seems like every championship game is just crazy. It's an outstanding game. Something nuts happens, and they're just close down to the wire, and it's great to see. It really is.
Yeah, it is fantastic. And I think one of the things that really helps is the quality of coaches has continued to get better in all leagues across the board. We all know our tendencies and our strategies, so guys are going to give their best. You don't see a lot of inexperienced coaches coming in and just getting wiped out. So, yeah, I agree. The strat's been building very competitive sets. There isn't those monolithic super teams like you had in the 70s, where you knew when you played the 1975 season or 1970, yeah, it's going to be the It's going to be the Raiders or the Steelers or the Dolphins, or you know what I mean. Like the champion team's going to come from one of those sets. I think that reflects well on the NFL and the way Strat portrays the NFL. Because if you look at the NFL, think about this, okay? We had a Super Bowl champion this year in the Denver Broncos in the NFL, which didn't have very good quarterback play and very nearly didn't make the playoffs. And then in the playoffs, you had, if you think back to the last couple playoff games, you had a couple years ago where the Ravens had a chance to win it against the Patriots in the AFC Championship game, and the ball just goes right off the fingertips of their fourth wide receiver, and they wind up losing that game. Or you have the Seahawks win against the 49ers with a late tip against Kaepernick, where if he had stuck with throwing it to Vernon Davis, who was open on that play, by the way, they could have won that game, and the Seahawks would have never made it. Or the Seahawks against the Packers, where the Packers, were totally in control of that game, and then they had to do all these exact things wrong for the Seahawks to take advantage of and win that game. Or the Seahawks against the Patriots, 1 yard line. This is what we're seeing in Strat, is what we're seeing in the NFL, where one or two plays can make a huge difference in the way the game plays out, and can make a difference in the championship. Look at SFFRL. I won with the Seahawks, right?
Yeah.
If the Cowboys had a fourth down at the 2 yard line, or the 1 yard line.
Line buck.
If they would have run the line buck, I would have been out. If they would have thrown the ball, I would have been out. I went from possibly losing my first round game to winning it all. So just one or two little plays makes a huge difference. So that's well done, Strat. Well done. Kudos to the way they portray the game. And my boys want to come say hi. Here, look at the Broncos won. Come here, guys.
Good job.
Say congratulations.
Congrats.
It's hot over here, so we're going shirtless for the boys. They got their Tarzan look going.
There we go. Well, this is a lot better result than the 2013 Snarl Super Bowl. That's all I got to say.
Yeah, that was and something like that can happen every once in a while too.
Oh, so. Brutal. I thought when it was 31-17, I said, no way, not again.
Yeah, it could have slipped away, but you stuck with it. You stuck to your plan and you executed. So well done. Congratulations again, Dan, and good luck in your future leagues. Let me see. I should have had the sound effects up here so I can. This is Tom's biggest beef with me, is that I am so bad on the timing of these sound effects. But here is a belated round of applause. Way to go.
All right. Thank you.
All hail the championship. Good job.
Yep. And the 2015 USFFL season starts tomorrow.
There you go. And congratulations to Rob.
Yes.
Great season. Great job. Well deserved. And I'll look for both of you guys to make deep runs next year. Can't wait to see how those Broncos are carded. They're going to have to really be outstanding on defense to make up for Peyton and Brock.
I can't wait to play the defense. And a little backstory here: when Green Bay was open last year, I put a bid in for him, and I wanted him badly. And Rob, I just said, I got him. I'm high enough up on the pecking order. I thought Rob was a lifelong Redskins owner, and he slid in there and grabbed him, and he was the only other claimer.
Nice.
So I would have had the Packers had Rob not taken him. So he can stay in the NFC. Dennis, stay in the NFC. Rob, stay in the NFC. Just leave us alone over in the AFC. We'll be fine.
All right, guys.
This is Lawrence. I really enjoyed watching your win there.
Hey, Lawrence. Thanks, buddy.
What a thrilling game. Unbelievable.
Oh, goodness gracious.
Such an emotional roller coaster.
It so much was. I mean, I remember you and I emailed quite a bit, and I've been thinking about this all weekend. We were at a birthday party at a lake yesterday, sitting there at dinner with my wife, and I'm sitting there going, should I focus on Eddie Lacy or should I double the wide receivers more? And it was all consuming all week, and just happy it ended that way. So thanks, Lawrence. I appreciate it.
Yeah, I couldn't believe it, that second quarter, just how brutal it was. But just all that kind of bad luck and calls and everything. It was such a thing to overcome.
It's falling apart.
I got to go run off and pick up my oldest. So congratulations again.
All right, guys.
Hey, thanks, guys. See you later. Thanks,
Take
Dennis,
care.
for calling, and I can't wait to watch it.
Okay, I'll put out the link. Take care.
See you, buddy. Thank you.